Chapter 473. Everyone, please take a seat. Ning Qing sat on his seat and stretched out his hand with a smile. The rest of the cultivators also sat down one by one. However, the atmosphere was no longer as casual and fierce as when they first arrived. In front of everyone, Ning Qing had killed Mao Shuxuan in less than a quarter of an incense stick worth of time, causing everyone to feel fearful of him. Killing Mao Shuxuan in such a short time, even Jian Xianming could not do it. In the city master election, I obtained 4 votes. Originally, Brother Jian had the same number of votes as me, and would have had the opportunity to compete again. I did not expect that the auspicious Star Chamber of Commerce would suddenly encounter such an incident. Brother Jian, what do you think? Ning Qing looked at Jian Xianming with a smile. Today, he had already planned to kill a person to establish his prestige. In his opinion, it would be best to kill Jian Xianming. He did not expect that Mao Shuxuan would court death, while Jian Xianming would withdraw, causing Ning Qing to feel some regret in his heart. Jian Xianming spoke up in a flat tone, since Brother Ning obtained more votes than me, and is already living in the city master's mansion, then Brother Ning should be the city master of the rootless Black City. Yes, I also agree with Brother Ning taking over as the city master of the rootless Black City. A red-haired man spoke up without hesitation. He was Dan Wenhong of Black City's crafting division. A moment ago, he had supported Jian Xianming, but now he turned to Ning Qing. It was as if it was a matter of course, without even the slightest bit of embarrassment. I also agree. Yes, I also agree. After killing Mao Shuxuan, the rest of the people no longer opposed Ning Qing taking over as the city master of the rootless Black City. Even the previously neutral captain of the Void Adventure Squad, Du Jiaxu, also agreed with Ning Qing taking over as the city master. In fact, for these people, whether Ning Qing became the city master or not, they really did not care. What they cared about was what Ning Qing would do after taking over as the city master. Ning Qing stood up and cupped his fists, before speaking up in a stern voice, "Since everyone is so enthusiastic, then I will take on this important task." You might say that taking over as the city master is an easy and profitable task, but I don't think so. My rootless Black City has been rotting for a long time. Countless cultivators have gone through hardships to break through the heaven's way, not to mention the rootless Black City's spatial wind edges. When Ning Qing spoke up to hear, apart from Chao Jimeng of the rogue cultivators of the rootless Black, no one present showed any expression. Except for Chao Ji of the rogue cultivators from the Rogue Alliance. Since none of you have any big opinions, then I will first announce a few new laws of the rootless Black City. Ning Qing did not expect that there would really be someone like him who wanted to re-establish order within the rootless Black City. From his point of view, how could a city with no restrictions be any better? In Cheng, Ning, he, Black City, and he did, bye the city, he did not show. Did, he, bye. 1, he and bye. He. Cheng. And, the time, he after, he of the bye, the roro. Of the Cheng of the Cheng, he the rogue sect, he the rogue, he the Cheng bye of the Cheng the rogue after. The rootless Black City had more than just a black name. Only the cultivators who lived here for many years knew how difficult it was to live here. As a rogue cultivator, Chao Jimeng could understand the difficulties of living here. Not to mention being exploited at any time, he could even be killed at any time. If not for helping some rogue cultivators, he, Chao Jimeng, would have already left for the starry skies of the universe. Unfortunately, he did not have the ability to reverse the situation. Moreover, those who had the ability to reverse the situation did not want to waste time on the Void Black City. Now that Ning Qing suddenly appeared, and wanted to reverse the darkness of the Black City, he naturally did not hesitate to stand up and support Ning Qing. I also support City Master Ning. The second to stand up was Gan Anren, followed by Wuingzhe of the Black City Array Formation Alliance. Wuingzhe was a Tier 7 Array Formation Grand Master, only he knew how terrifying Ning Qing was. Ning Cheng's array formations were something that even he could not understand. Such a terrifying person, he absolutely did not want to be an enemy. From the moment Ning Cheng issued the invitation, he had never wanted to go against Ning Cheng. Alright, thank you all. Ning Cheng cupped his fists before continuing, now that I'm the city master of the rootless Black City, the first thing I want to do is to clean up the entire rootless Black City's order. Everyone should already know that I have formed a cultivator army. This cultivator army will be the only cultivator army within the rootless Black City. There will never be a second one. Everyone thought to themselves that after Ning Cheng formed a cultivator army, he would never allow a second cultivator army to emerge. From now on, I will promulgate a set of laws within the rootless Black City and the receiving heaven's stone. No matter who it is, as long as they violate the laws, they must be dealt with in accordance with the laws. First, from now on, all the rest stops on the receiving heaven's stone will be removed, leaving only a rest stop and a place to exchange black coins. The price will be the same as the rootless Black City. Second, the rootless Black City will require 1,000 black coins to apply for an identity jade card. Moreover, this black coin will not be distributed, it will all be used for the expenses of the rootless Black City's cultivator army. Third, regardless of any cultivator or any chamber of commerce, anyone who dares to rob a female cultivator or rob a newcomer's belongings will be killed without mercy. Anyone who dares to kill in the rootless Black City, regardless of which city district, will be killed without mercy. The rootless Black City will also establish a dueling platform. Those who have a grudge against each other can challenge each other through the dueling platform. However, both parties must agree to it. Fourth. Fifth. If there are any incomplete matters, the city master's mansion will issue a complete law manual. When Ning Cheng briefly stated the contents of the law, the entire meeting hall turned silent. After a while, Chao Jimeng slapped the table and stood up, before shouting, "Good." He had wanted to establish a set of laws and regulations within the rootless Black City for many years. Unfortunately, he was alone and weak, while his cultivation was only at the second level of plundering life realm. Within the rootless Black City, his strength was not even enough to fill the gaps between the teeth of others. I don't agree. If the receiving heaven's stone does not allow the opening of a rest stop, nor does it allow the exchange of black coins. If the black coins used to apply for an identity jade card when entering the rootless Black City for the first time, as well as the daily payment of black coins by the cultivators in the rootless Black City, would all belong to the city master's mansion. How can our Chamber of Commerce survive? A gentle-looking long-bearded male cultivator immediately retorted. Who are you? Ning Cheng glanced at this long-bearded male cultivator. The long-bearded male cultivator spoke up in a tone that was neither overbearing nor servile. I am Bu Yuanmao from the Gale Void Alliance. I have 2 businesses in the receiving heaven's stone and a few good businesses in the rootless Black City. Ning Cheng nodded. Then let me ask you, does your Gale Void Alliance's main source of black coins come from the newcomers? Saying that, Ning Cheng directly stared at Bu Yuanmao. If Bu Yuanmao dared to say that the Gale Void Alliance's black coins came from the newcomers, then he would not hesitate to destroy this alliance. A chamber of commerce that mainly earns black coins from the newcomers would definitely have bloody hands. Bu Yuanmao spoke up with disdain. My Gale Void Alliance's black coins mainly come from the Void ships, the Void adventures, and some transactions with the Chamber of Commerce. How could it be obtained from the newcomers? Since it is not obtained from the newcomers, then why do you object to me abolishing the rest stop and the Chamber of Commerce at the receiving heaven's stone? Ning Cheng asked in a cold tone. Bu Yuanmao felt very unhappy in his heart. He knew that Ning Cheng had killed Mao Shuxuan to establish his prestige. However, every year, the newcomers would come to the receiving heaven's stone, which would bring a huge amount of black coins to the Gale Void Alliance. If this piece was missing, then many people in his Gale Void Alliance would feel dissatisfied. The reason why he could become the boss of the Gale Void Alliance was that he had to satisfy his subordinates. As for the lives of those newcomers, to be honest, how much was it worth? Even now, he believed that Ning Qing killing Mao Shuxuan and destroying the auspicious Star Chamber of Commerce was just an excuse to establish his prestige. He absolutely did not believe that Ning Cheng would be so lofty as to seek benefits for ordinary rogue cultivators and newcomers. City Master Ning, I have no opinion on choosing you as the City Master, and I also agree to it. However, what my Gale Void Alliance wants to do is my Gale Void Alliance's business. City Master Ning does not need to worry about it. City Master Ning, please continue to work hard. I will take my leave now. With that, Bu Yuanmao suddenly stood up and prepared to leave. Ning Cheng's mouth overflowed with a trace of disdain. Did he still want to leave after coming to the Hongmen banquet? If his strength had reached the plundering life realm, then this person would have already left. However, his current strength was not enough. Letting this Bu Yuanmao leave, unless he was an idiot. City Master, the auspicious Star Chamber of Commerce has already been destroyed. From now on, the auspicious Star Chamber of Commerce no longer exists in the rootless Black City. As for the territories of the auspicious Star Chamber of Commerce, they are sealed off just like the Silver Thunder Chamber of Commerce. Shen Zimo's voice arrived at the same time as Bu Yuanmao stood up. Everyone could feel the powerful killing intent coming from him. Good, you've worked hard. Ning Cheng had just finished this sentence when he heard Bu Yuanmao speak up in a calm voice, City Master Ning, I will now return to the Gale Void encampment. Please open the array formation. Bu Yuanmao also stood up, only to find that there was no exit. If he wanted to go out, then he would have to forcibly break through Ning Cheng's array formation. Although he was powerful, he did not dare to break open Ning Cheng's array formation in this place. Ning Cheng did not care about Bu Yuanmao at all. He knew that killing Mao Shuxuan today was not enough. In order to stabilize the rootless Black City, he had to kill Bu Yuanmao. Moreover, he could not kill Bu Yuanmao with his own hands. Zimo, have you investigated the crimes of the Gale Void Alliance? As soon as Ning Cheng's words came out, the entire assembly hall instantly turned ice cold. Ning Cheng killing Mao Shuxuan before could be considered as establishing his prestige. If he killed Bu Yuanmao, then it would not just be establishing his prestige, but would also be exterminating him. City Master Ning, what do you want? Bu Yuanmao could feel his voice trembling. He did not think that Ning Cheng would be so daring. After killing Mao Shuxuan, he even dared to act against him. One had to know that from the beginning to the end, he had never acted like Mao Shuxuan. At least on the surface, he was still polite towards Ning Cheng. In the last 30 years, the Gale Void Alliance has killed 198 innocent newcomer cultivators, robbed 41 newcomer female cultivators, robbed 218 of the belongings of the rootless Black City's rogue cultivators, and killed 212 people. Shen Zimo's tone was laced with thick murderous intent. Ning Cheng glanced at the silent assembly hall and spoke up in a calm voice, Ladies and gentlemen, the rootless Black City belongs to all of us. I think there are some things that require everyone's help. As for the Gale Void Alliance's actions, I want to hear everyone's opinion. The assembly hall turned even more silent. Ning Cheng wanted everyone to show their loyalty. Chapter 474. Ning Cheng, do you want to cover the sky with one hand? Everyone, how long has it been since Ning Cheng came to the rootless Black City? He killed City Master Su, destroyed the Silver Thunder Chamber of Commerce, killed Mao Shuxuan in front of us, destroyed the auspicious Star Chamber of Commerce, and now he wants to move against my Gale Void Alliance. Think about it, after he moves against me, do you think he will let you go? Bu Yuanmao on seeing Ning Cheng really wanting to kill him immediately screamed out in a hoarse voice. Jian Xianming felt some regret in his heart. He should not have come to Ning Cheng's place. He thought that with so many people here, and Ning Cheng had just returned to the city master's mansion, he would not be able to stir up any big waves. He did not expect Ning Cheng to be so bold. Not only did he arrange an array formation to wait for everyone, but he also wanted to take complete control of the rootless Black City. At this time, even Jian Xianming did not stand up to speak. Seeing the silence in the hall, Bu Yuanmao's heart sank. He had thought about this situation before, and because he knew about it, he wanted to leave this place in a hurry. However, he did not expect Ning Cheng to be so determined and not let him leave. At this moment, Chao Jimeng of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance stood up, cupped his fists and spoke, "Everyone, Chao Jimeng, established the Rogue Cultivator Alliance for the purpose of everyone. I have never sought any benefits for myself. As City Master Ning said, too many innocent cultivators die in the rootless Black City every year. I do not have the ability to do these things. Now that City Master Ning has come forward to do these things, I will be the first to support him. I and Bu Yuan Mao do not have any grudges, but I am very clear about the Gale Void Alliance's actions." City Master Ning not only did not wrongly accuse the Gale Void Alliance, but even less than half of it was investigated. "We will have to leave the rootless Black City in the future, but we still have friends and fellow disciples coming to the rootless Black City. This place must not continue like this." Chao Jimeng did not continue, but brought out his weapon and stared at Bu Yuan Mao with a cold gaze. "Before in the rootless Black City, I might have earned more, however, City Master Ning's actions were all for the sake of the rootless Black City. What Brother Chao said is right, I also have my own fellow disciples and friends. In the future, when I leave the rootless Black City, I do not want my friends to come to the rootless Black City to suffer humiliation. I also support City Master Ning." The second one to stand up was Gan Anren of the Heaven City Chamber of Commerce. Chao Jimeng and Gan Anren also stood up. Black City Pil Unions Ji Xing and Black City Array Formation Alliance's Wu Yingxia, who originally supported and feared Ning Cheng, also stood up at the same time. Immediately after, the Void Adventure Squad and He Cheng's artifact crafting team also stood up and expressed their support for Ning Cheng's new rules. Ning Cheng did not ask Jian Xianming of the Extinguishing Karma Starry Sky Fleet or Luqiu Kangbua of the Void Sect. Instead, he turned to Shen Zimo and spoke, "Zimo, in that case, take the Cultivator Army to the Gale Void Alliance." How the auspicious Star Chamber of Commerce disappeared, the Gale Void Alliance will also disappear. "Yes." Shen Zimo simply replied with one word and quickly left the venue. Bu Yuan Mao's body turned cold. He knew that if he didn't compromise, he would definitely die. Even if the Gale Void Alliance was about to be destroyed, he couldn't care about anything else. Just as he was about to open his mouth, Ning Cheng brought out his 2 axes, bringing out 2 axe traces to chop towards Bu Yuan Mao. Initially, he did not intend to do it himself, however, Bu Yuan Mao wanted to give in. How could he let such a poisonous snake leave at this time? Seeing Ning Cheng start, Chao Jimeng and the others also quickly acted. In just a moment, Bu Yuan Mao found himself surrounded by 5 or 6 artifact lights. Luqiu Kangbua, who had not explicitly agreed with Ning Cheng, directly brought out an artifact and shot it towards Bu Yuan Mao. While speaking, City Master Ning's approach is for the benefit of the entire rootless Black City. How can you allow your Gale Void Alliance to oppose it? Bu Yuan Mao knew that it would be difficult for him to get out of this situation peacefully, however, it was impossible for him to surrender without a fight. At the same time that he brought out his artifact, the surrounding space instantly became filled with all kinds of restrictions. His heart was like a mirror, he understood that Ning Cheng had activated an entrapment formation. He wanted to call out Jian Xianming for help, unfortunately, he could not even see Jian Xianming at this time. Ning Cheng not only activated the entrapment formation, but also activated other array formations. All the cultivators attacking Bu Yuan Mao felt their hearts turn cold at this moment. They could clearly feel that they were trapped within an array formation. This array formation did not have any effect on them, however, when they saw Bu Yuan Mao trapped within the array formation, they immediately understood that Bu Yuan Mao was under great restrictions. Several of them, who were still hesitating, felt even more fortunate in their hearts. If they had refused Ning Cheng, then Bu Yuan Mao would not be the only one in the same situation as Bu Yuan Mao. All the people attacking Bu Yuan Mao could see each other, however, some of them had already noticed that Jian Xianming had disappeared. Apart from the dazzling lights and explosions from the artifacts, they could not see Jian Xianming at all. The few people who originally wanted to fish in troubled waters, after not seeing Jian Xianming, immediately threw away the idea of fishing in troubled waters. Instead, they crazily attacked Bu Yuanmao with their artifacts. They feared that once they had any ideas, they would be the next ones to fall in this place. Jian Xianming also brought out an artifact, however, he did not make a move. At the same time, he also brought out a pitch-black thunder bead. He wanted to take the opportunity to use the thunder bead to blast open Ning Cheng's array formation, and then immediately leave. But soon Jian Xianming understood that he was wrong. Ning Cheng did not attack Bu Yuanmao, but rather kept an eye on him. Jian Xianming did not have the time to think about it, as he threw out the thunder bead. At the same time, he found that several array flags also fell down along with his thunder bead. Immediately, those array flags transformed into flag shadows that completely wrapped around his thunder bead. Not good, Jian Xianming had just thought of this, when dozens of axes turned into axe shadows that wrapped around him. Violent explosions erupted in the assembly hall of the city master's mansion, while the lights from the various artifacts also overflowed in all directions. However, no one came here to meddle in other people's business, nor did anyone come here to ask about it. Even if Bu Yuanmao was more powerful, he would not be able to deal with 7 or 8 people by himself. Coupled with the help of Ning Cheng's array formation, even if the cultivators attacking him did not use their full strength, in just the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, without exception, several rays of light pierced through him, causing him to fall on the spot. At the same time that Bu Yuanmao fell, the surrounding space immediately cleared up. Apparently, Ning Cheng had removed the array formation. At this moment, everyone discovered that Bu Yuanmao was not the only one missing, Jian Xianming was also missing. No one spoke. Jian Xuanming's cultivation was at the late stage of plundering life realm. Since he disappeared, it definitely was not because Ning Cheng let him go. Rather, during the fight a moment ago, Ning Cheng took the opportunity to kill Jian Xianming with the array formation. Ning Cheng acted as if nothing had happened, as he cupped his fists and spoke, "Today, everyone took the first step for my rootless black city. My city master's mansion will soon promulgate the laws and business regulations of the rootless black city. I hope that everyone can support it." At this time, no one stood up to sing a different tune. Everyone agreed with Ning Cheng's words. Ning Cheng's methods were not only ruthless but also effective. Unless there was something wrong with their brains, no one would stand up against it in this place at this time. Ning Cheng continued, "As for the extinguishing Karma Starry Sky Fleet, I hope that everyone can help me deal with it." As soon as Ning Cheng's words came out, all the people in the venue felt as if their hearts had exploded. Everyone understood that while they had killed Bu Yuanmao, Ning Cheng had also killed Jian Xianming. What kind of method was this? Asking them to help deal with Jian Xuanming's extinguishing Karma Starry Sky Fleet's businesses. This was a sweet taste for everyone to taste. I am the first to agree with City Master Ning's statement and approach. I will not have even half a shred of objection. The first to stand up and speak was Dan Wenhong. The rest of the people looked at this fellow with some contempt. This fellow was originally a hardcore supporter of Jian Xianming. But now that he supported Ning Cheng, he was even more active than Chao Jimeng from the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. With just a glance, one could tell that he was someone who swayed according to the wind. Good. Ning Cheng clapped his hands and took out a leather scroll before speaking. "This is the result of this meeting, as well as the vote to promulgate the rootless Black City's laws. Everyone, please sign your names here." Ning Cheng's laws had not yet been fully promulgated, yet he wanted others to sign their names here. This kind of domineering action, no one objected and everyone stepped forward to sign their names. Whether the starting point was good or bad, strength was the most obvious. Without strength, nothing else mattered. As for Ning Cheng's strength, the people here could clearly see it. The complex forces within the rootless Black City, under Ning Cheng's Hungmen banquet, had simply straightened it out. Some people felt dissatisfied, but they could do nothing about it. Not all of the people felt dissatisfied in their hearts. At least the rootless Black City now had a unified set of laws, which was much better than the previous state of disunity. The rootless Black City's new city master Ning Cheng, together with the Heaven City Chamber of Commerce, the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, the Void Adventure Squad, the Void Sect, the Black City Pill Union, the Black City Array Formation Alliance, the Black City Artifact Crafting Alliance and other forces, jointly promulgated the new laws of the rootless Black City. At the same time, it prohibited the rootless Black City from killing the innocent, bullying the new rogue cultivators, forcibly occupying female cultivators and other crimes. Once committed, they would face the same fate as the Gale Void Alliance, the Silver Thunder Chamber of Commerce, the Auspicious Star Chamber of Commerce, the Extinguishing Karma Starry Sky Fleet, and the other major forces. For a time, the entire rootless Black City and the Receiving Heaven's Stone underwent massive changes. They could no longer see any cultivators bullying the weak, nor could they see any random act of robbing the newcomers who came to the Receiving Heaven's Stone. Even if there was a huge hatred between them, they had to wait until they left the rootless Black City to resolve it. There were still some void ships coming and going from the Receiving Heaven's Stone, however, the price was no longer 50,000 black coins, but 10,000 to 30,000. The Receiving Heaven's Stone also had the same black coin exchange rate as the rootless Black City. Once a new cultivator came to the Receiving Heaven's Stone, they would only need 3 million spirit stones to reach the rootless Black City safely. Generally, cultivators who could cross the Heaven's Way and reach the Receiving Heaven's Stone would not be able to come up with a few million spirit stones. The guards of the several major districts of the rootless Black City were completely replaced by the cultivator army of the City Master's mansion. As such, there were no longer any blind spots for the guards. At the same time, living in a better place meant that they would have to pay more taxes. These taxes were all used for the cultivator army, as well as the protection and operation of the rootless Black City. Although this new law touched the interests of some people, it also won the support of the majority of the cultivators. Almost 90% of the cultivators wholeheartedly supported the new law promulgated by the City Master's mansion. With the gradual improvement of the cultivator army also replaced the cultivators who supported Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng's status in the rootless Black City had reached an unshakable level. Chapter 475. After Ning Cheng took control of the rootless Black City, he handed over the management of the rootless Black City to Lan Wenbin and Shin Zimo. He had obtained some crystal stones from Su Kai, however, the most important thing for him now was to use these crystal stones to improve his cultivation. As for the Void Explosive Golden Wasp King Egg, Ning Cheng had already sealed it in a jade box. He did not have any knowledge about cultivating Void Explosive Golden Wasps. Moreover, Su Liangji's ring did not contain anything related to this matter. Although he wanted to make the Void Explosive Golden Wasps recognize him as its master, he could not do anything about it. Moreover, Ning Cheng was very careful about the Void Explosive Golden Wasp King Egg. After all, this Wasp King Egg had not yet hatched and had not recognized him as its master. In case he was not careful and allowed the aura of this Wasp King Egg to leak out, the consequences would not be good. Of the more than 100 cultivators who went to the Blue Essence Stone Mine, no one came back except for him. This made Ning Cheng temporarily dispel the idea of searching for the Blue Essence Stone Mine. Even if he wanted to go, he would have to wait until his cultivation was higher. Without cultivation resources, he had no other choice. Now that he had access to cultivation resources, he naturally chose to go into seclusion with Luofei. After Ning Cheng went into seclusion, the rootless Black City finally stabilized. If cultivators didn't fight for magic treasures and treasures, they would rarely fight for the sake of personal feelings. Relatively speaking, this place was much simpler to manage compared to ordinary mortal cities. Now that the rootless Black City had strict laws and the cultivator army as their backing, cultivators who committed crimes against the law were as rare as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. Even if there were a few such people, the guards of the rootless Black City's City Master's mansion would immediately kill them. As for the other forces, after a period of time, they also found that without exploiting the newcomers, their income did not seem to have decreased at all. On the contrary, doing things in such an environment made things much smoother. 5 years later, Ning Cheng once again used up 8 crystal stones, while using up more than 1 billion spirit stones. The only crystal stone left was for Ji Luofei. He was afraid that Ji Luofei might encounter some problems during her advancement, therefore, he left behind a crystal stone. As for the spiritual grasses in the ring, he turned them all into medicinal pills. Although his alchemy level had improved to that of a Tier 8 Earth Pill Grand Master, his cultivation only rose to the Crucible Transformation 7th level. Compared to Ning Cheng, Ji Luofei already had the cultivation of Crucible Transformation 8th level. Yi Zhuzhu, who stayed in seclusion in the city master's mansion, with the help of Ning City's large number of pills and spirit stones, in just 5 years, she managed to advance to the early stages of the soul sculpting realm. Her qualifications were simply indescribably heaven-defying. When Ning Cheng rescued her, she was a skinny girl with only a thin layer of skin. But now, she had grown into a slim and graceful young girl. Standing next to Ji Luofei, they were almost the same height. She had an incomparably delicate and pretty face, although it could not be compared to Ji Luofei, but it also had a unique introverted temperament. However, she rarely left the city master's mansion. Most of the time, apart from going into seclusion, she would occasionally ask Ning Cheng and Ji Luofei about some cultivation issues when they came out of seclusion. What happened back then had caused great harm to her. As she grew older, this harm seemed to still exist. Other than Ning Cheng and Ji Luofei, Yi Zhuzhu never spoke to a third person. After Ning Cheng reached the Crucible Transformation 7th level, he immediately stopped his seclusion. He calculated that there were still 2 years before the void ship from outer space would arrive. 2 years later, he would definitely leave with Ji Luofei and Yi Zhuzhu. He had heard that the void ship would leave the rootless Black City and arrive at the starry sky celestial world. However, it would take many years to fly through the void. The reason why he wanted to go out now was that he wanted to adapt to the void for a while. In case the void ship encountered any problems in the void, he would at least be prepared for it. People who did not think about the future would have to worry about the near future. Ning Cheng had already understood this truth after roaming the true cultivation world for so many years. In the deepest part of the city master's mansion, within the spiritual gathering array cave, Ji Luofei stood up with a light whistle. She finally broke through to the Crucible Transformation 9th level, which made her feel extremely happy. Ning Cheng had only left the rootless Black City for half a year, yet she managed to advance once again. Maybe by the time Ning Cheng returned, she would have already reached the great circle of the Crucible Transformation realm. Big Sister Luofei, did you break through again? Yi Zhuzhu's joyful voice arrived. Apparently, she had been waiting outside for a while. Ji Luofei came out and pulled Yi Zhuzhu's hand before speaking in a soft voice. You've been waiting for me for a long time, right? Is there something you need from me? And, when I saw the spiritual chi fluctuations coming from Big Sister's side, I knew that Big Sister was about to break through. So I came over to see. I also wanted Big Sister to accompany me out. Yi Zhuzhu spoke with a somewhat bashful expression. Ji Luofei smiled. I also wanted to go out and buy something. We will be leaving the rootless Black City in a little more than a year. I heard that the void ship would have to fly for a long time in the void. Yi Zhuzhu was just about to speak when she saw a pale red flying sword fall into Ji Luofei's hand. Ji Luofei grabbed the flying sword and glanced at it. Immediately, a look of surprise appeared on her face before she spoke up. Zhuzhu, something happened in the rootless Black City. Hurry up and come out with me. When Ji Luofei and Yi Zhuzhu arrived at the city master's mansion's main hall, Shen Zimo anxiously paced back and forth inside the main hall. The rest of the people in the main hall also had anxious expressions on their faces. Deacon Shen, about the void monstrous beast invasion, you can slowly tell us about it. Don't worry about it. After Ji Luofei arrived at the main hall, she calmed down. Ning Cheng was the city master of the rootless Black City. Under normal circumstances, Ning Cheng did not have to worry about the matters of the rootless Black City. Shen Zimo and Lan Wenbin, as well as Gan Anren and Chao Jimeng, who had recently joined the rootless Black City, could easily deal with it. Now that Gan Anren and Chao Jimeng were not here, only Shen Zimo anxiously waited for her. Shen Zimo was a very calm person under normal circumstances. However, with him showing such anxiety today, it showed that this matter was not necessarily related to the monstrous beast invasion mentioned on the flying sword. Senior Apprentice Sister Ji, a void battleship suddenly appeared outside the rootless Black City today. This void battleship ignored the rootless Black City's forbidden space restriction and tried to forcibly enter the rootless Black City. As a result, my rootless Black City's cultivator army managed to stop it. I did not expect that this battleship would have such amazing combat capabilities. In just half an incense stick worth of time, it managed to kill hundreds of my rootless Black City's crucible transformation guards. Ah! When Shen Zimo spoke until here, even Ji Luofei could not help but cry out in shock. Since Ning Qing reenacted the rootless Black City's laws, the rootless Black City had never suffered more than 10 casualties. Now that hundreds of cultivators had died, it was obvious that the number of casualties was still increasing. It was just too terrifying. After Shen Zimo spoke these words, he also calmed down a lot. Senior Apprentice Sister Ji, these are not the worst. The worst thing is that when our rootless Black City used the array formation to block the void battleship, countless void explosive golden wasps appeared outside the rootless Black City. These void explosive golden wasps should have been chasing after the void battleship. That void battleship wanted to rush into the rootless Black City, but these void explosive golden wasps also started attacking the rootless Black City's array formation. When Ji Luofei heard this, her heart sank even more. She was very clear about the power of the void explosive golden wasps. Initially, when she and Ning Cheng had ambushed Su Liangji, they ended up encountering Su Liangji and the others surrounded by the void explosive golden wasps. Even to this day, none of the cultivators who ended up surrounded by the void explosive golden wasps had returned. As for the void battleship, there was also no news about it. Ning Cheng had a void explosive golden wasps Wasp King egg on him. If this kind of thing surrounded a city, how terrifying would it be? What about the void battleship? Ji Luofei couldn't help but ask another question. The void battleship is temporarily trapped by the array formation of the Array Formation Alliance's Association Master Wu Yingxia. It won't be able to break free for some time. However, those void explosive golden wasps are too terrifying. Once they break through the rootless Black City's defensive array, the consequences would be unimaginable. Shen Zimo spoke with a worried expression. In his view, if these void explosive golden wasps rushed into the rootless Black City, the rootless Black City would turn into a beehive. At the same time, the original cultivators of the rootless Black City would disappear without a trace. Ji Luofei really wanted Ning Qing to come back. However, when she thought of Ning Qing coming back, he would immediately have to face countless void explosive golden wasps, causing her heart to tremble. I've already sent a message to City Master Ning. City Master Ning should have received my message by now. Shen Zimo did not have the same thoughts as Ji Luofei. When the countless void explosive golden wasps attacked the rootless Black City, he had immediately sent a message to Ning Qing. Ji Luofei sighed. In that case, let's head to the rootless Black City's walls to take a look. Shen Zimo nodded and immediately called for hundreds of guards to follow Ji Luofei towards the rootless Black City's walls. It was not that the rootless Black City had never been attacked by void monstrous beasts before. This kind of thing had happened several times in Shen Zimo's memory. However, no matter which time the void monstrous beasts attacked the rootless Black City, none of them were as terrifying as this one. Ji Luofei arrived at the rootless Black City's walls, only then did she realize how terrifying the situation was. Initially, she had heard Ning Qing say that more than 100 void explosive golden wasps had besieged and killed hundreds of cultivators. However, the number of void explosive golden wasps she saw here was simply uncountable. She could only see the void explosive golden wasps outside the rootless Black City, numbering in the tens of thousands. Even through the array formation, she could clearly smell the murderous aura. At the same time, there were also countless cultivators above the rootless Black City, using the array formations to constantly attack the void explosive golden wasps. Wu Yingxia of the Array Formation Alliance led a group of array formation masters who understood array formations to constantly maintain the rootless Black City's city-protecting array formation. Gan Anren, Chao Jimeng, Du Jiashu, and the others led some cultivators from the cultivator army and stood in the void above the rootless Black City's citadel, constantly blocking the innumerable void explosive golden wasps. Junior apprentice sister Luofei, it might be difficult to resist this time. There are just too many void explosive golden wasps. Moreover, they are also desperately attacking the rootless Black City. I don't know what kind of medicine these explosive golden wasps ate. Gan Anren, on seeing Ji Luofei come over, quickly came over to greet her. If City Master Ning hadn't rearranged the rootless Black City's city-protecting array formation, maybe the rootless Black City would not have been able to hold on. Wu Yingxia spoke with a solemn expression. Ning Cheng was not in the rootless Black City. As such, the rootless Black City's city-protecting array formation completely relied on him and his people to protect it. Chapter 476. Ning Cheng was currently in the vicinity of the blue essence stone mine that Su Liangji and the others had found. His cultivation had already reached the crucible transformation 7th level, and he also possessed the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. After training in the void for a few months, he still couldn't bear to part with the blue essence stone mine, so he came over to take a look. As soon as he arrived at this place, he knew that the blue essence stone mine had already been dug out by someone. The blue halo was much smaller than before, and those terrifying void explosive golden wasps had also disappeared. Although the blue essence stone mine was a lot less, Ning Cheng was still very satisfied in his heart. At least there was still some ore here. The blue essence stone ore was 100 times more valuable than the black essence stones. As such, as long as he could get his hands on 10 million worth of blue essence stones, he would be able to exchange it for 1 billion black coins. Ning Cheng had not yet thought of a way to dig out all the ores in this place in the shortest possible time, when a message suddenly came from his communication pearl. After reading this message, Ning Cheng suddenly felt anxious in his heart. Shen Zimo had sent him a message saying that the rootless Black City was surrounded by an endless horde of void explosive golden wasps. This news immediately made Ning Cheng lose even half a shred of interest in mining the blue essence stone mine. Ning Cheng had personally witnessed the fierceness of the void explosive golden wasps. Once this kind of wasps became endless, then even if the rootless Black City had more crucible transformation cultivators, they would still end up being overwhelmed by these void explosive golden wasps. As for the city-protecting array formations that he had arranged, even if it took a little longer, it would not be able to block the exploding golden wasps. He had to return to the rootless Black City as soon as possible. He absolutely could not let Luofei and Zhu Zhu fall into danger. Even if the rootless Black City had a cultivator army, once the city-protecting array formation broke, the cultivator army would not be able to take care of Luofei and Zhu Zhu. Even if Ning Cheng was on the verge of reaching the great circle of the crucible transformation 7th level, if he relied on his twin wings of the heavenly clouds, it would still take him more than half a month to reach the rootless Black City from the vicinity of the blue essence stone mine. If they encountered a meteor shower or encountered some twists and turns along the way, it would take at least a month. For Ning Cheng, if he wanted to return to the rootless Black City as soon as possible, then other than using Su Kai's transmission array flags, he had no other choice. If it was an ordinary time, Ning Cheng would never have used the transmission array flags left behind by Su Kai. Su Kai's transmission array flags, which were used to teleport through the void, could easily be swept away by void dislocations and void collapses. In the process of teleportation, if one were to be sucked into a void dislocation or a void collapse, it would be a narrow escape from death. Unfortunately, Ning Cheng did not have any other choice at this moment. In fact, Ning Cheng did not even think about it. After learning that the exploding golden wasps had besieged the city, he had already taken out the transmission array flags. From this place to the rootless Black City, even if one used the fastest transmission method, it would still take more than half a day. During this period, he wanted to find some of the void islands where Su Kai had arranged the transmission arrays, and then follow these void islands, one by one, to return. Within the rootless Black City, the outermost array formation gave out a kacha sound. Not to mention that Wuingzhe was only a level 7 array formation Grand Master, there were not many array formation Grand Masters around him who could help him. Even if Ning Cheng were here, facing so many void explosive golden wasps, he would not be able to resist. As soon as the outer array formation cracked, over 1,000 cultivators were swept up by the endless beehives and disappeared without a trace in the span of 10 breaths. Faced with such a terrifying scene, the cultivators fighting against the exploding golden wasps at the top of the rootless Black City's city walls turned ashen. Once the rootless Black City's inner defensive array broke, the many cultivators within the rootless Black City would not have even the slightest chance of survival. Moreover, not many cultivators would be able to escape in the end. Once swept away by this void explosive golden wasp swarm, the entire rootless Black City would cease to exist. The endless exploding golden wasps' inhalers and the countless exploding golden lights from their stingers continuously bombarded the rootless Black City's inner defensive array. This inner defensive array was like a lotus flower in the cold wind, swaying constantly. At this moment, everyone was crazily attacking the void explosive golden wasps while maintaining the array formation. However, there were just too many void explosive golden wasps. Not only that, but the defensive capabilities of the void explosive golden wasps were also extremely powerful. For a late-stage crucible transformation cultivator, to kill an exploding golden wasp, they would need to strike it several times in a row, while simultaneously striking the vital points of the void explosive golden wasps. Under this kind of disparity, the fighting spirit of the cultivators within the rootless Black City grew weaker and weaker. At this moment, many of the cultivators were thinking about how to escape once the void explosive golden wasps broke through the defenses of the rootless Black City. Even Ji Luofei was ready to rush into the void with Yi Zhuzhu at any time. Catcha! The rootless Black City's inner defensive array gave out another ka-cha sound, followed by a horrifying crack appearing on the rootless Black City's inner defensive array. Even Chao Jimeng, who had rushed to the front, shouted out, "Everyone, pay attention. Once the inner defensive array breaks, remember to escape in all directions. Do not concentrate in one direction." A feeling of death spread out. If there was an opportunity to break through, many of the cultivators would have already rushed out. In the face of the exploding golden wasps surrounding the rootless Black City like an iron bucket, breaking through at this time would only result in death. Everyone was waiting for the moment when the rootless Black City broke through. Once it did, they would then look for an opportunity to escape. Ning Cheng rushed to the outside of the rootless Black City and saw the endless void explosive golden wasps, causing him to feel a chill run down his spine. The void explosive golden wasps had already broken through the rootless Black City's outer defensive array, as such, even the inner defensive array was in danger. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept towards the anxious-looking Ji Luofei, as well as Yi Zhuzhu standing beside Ji Luofei, causing his heart to calm down a bit. Ning Cheng had rearranged the array formations around the rootless Black City. Therefore, even if the void explosive golden wasps did not break through these array formations, his spiritual consciousness would still be able to pass through them unimpeded. Now that the void explosive golden wasps had broken through the Black City's outer defensive array, his spiritual consciousness could now see everything clearly. He saw a huge black warship in the middle of the Black City's inner defensive array and the outer defensive array, wrapped in array flags. Ning Cheng immediately knew that Wuingzhe had arranged these array flags. However, with Ning Cheng's attainments in array formations, he could also see that the reason why the void explosive golden wasps did not continue to attack this black warship was not because of the shackling array flags arranged by Wuingzhe. Rather, it was because this void battleship had an aura-concealing array disc. This array disc was much stronger than the array flags arranged by Wuingzhe. However, this seemingly endless void explosive golden wasps completely ignored the black warship in front of them. Ning Cheng immediately understood that this was definitely not normal. According to the information provided by Shinzimo, these void explosive golden wasps came from this warship. However, This warship was actually concealed by a top-grade array disk. Even without the exploding golden wasps attacking, all the exploding golden wasps were attacking the rootless Black City. How could this be normal? Ning Qing did not hold back, and just shot out a red flame. The void explosive golden wasps besieging the rootless Black City immediately sensed it. However, Ning Cheng's arrival was too sudden. With an explosive sound, the flame instantly burned a gap in the dense swarm of exploding golden wasps. Ning Cheng took advantage of this opportunity to stimulate the twin wings of the heavenly clouds and rush in through the gap. Soon, he arrived at the top of the rootless Black City's walls. Although Ning Cheng's celestial river flame was extremely powerful, and he had cast out the maximal flame spiritual technique to create this line of fire, it did not kill many exploding golden wasps. At least, compared to the endless swarm of void explosive golden wasps, it was negligible. Ning Cheng, who had rushed to the top of the rootless Black City's walls, took a deep breath. He knew that it was absolutely impossible to kill the dense swarm of void explosive golden wasps with the help of his celestial river flame. Just now, he had only simulated the maximal flame spiritual technique and opened up a path, causing him to consume too much of his true essence and spiritual consciousness. If he continued to use this spiritual technique, he would not even have to wait for the void explosive golden wasps to finish killing them before he himself fell to the ground. City Master is back. City Master. Ning Cheng landed at the top of the city's walls, immediately attracting everyone's attention. Although many people knew that Ning Cheng's return would not solve the problem, Ning Cheng's return made the restless rootless Black City's cultivators calm down a lot. Ji Luofei quickly brought Yi Zhu to Ning Cheng's side, feeling relieved in her heart. City Master, what should we do now? Shen Zimo also rushed over. Ning Cheng, on seeing the rest of the people rushing over, quickly spoke up, "Everyone, don't panic. Block the exploding golden wasps with everything you have. As long as you can hold on for another half an hour, I will have a way to solve the problem." The cultivators, who were originally fighting against the void explosive golden wasps, after listening to Ning Cheng's words, felt a bit more at ease in their hearts. At the same time, their resistance against the exploding golden wasps also improved a lot. After all, Ning Cheng could rush in from outside the city. If he wanted to rush out and escape, these void explosive golden wasps would not be able to stop him. Since Ning Cheng decided to stay here, then maybe he really had a way. Ning Cheng helped Wu Yingzhe throw out dozens of array flags. After repairing most of the cracks in the defensive array formation, he spoke up, "I'm going to look for something. Once I find that thing, I'll be fine." "Dear." Ji Luofei called out in worry. Ning Cheng patted Ji Luofei's hand and spoke, "Luofei, don't worry. I found a way to deal with these void explosive golden wasps. I'll lead these exploding golden wasps away and let Wu Yingzhe bring people to repair the array formation." "I'll go with you." Ji Luofei quickly spoke up. Ning Cheng understood Ji Luofei's meaning. Ji Luofei wanted to bring Yi Zhu into the miniature world. However, he shook his head and spoke, "The level of my miniature world is too low. It is not stable in the void. Once it encounters a spatial collapse or a spatial compression, my miniature world would most likely collapse. Therefore, you and Zhu cannot go. As long as I lead the exploding golden wasps away, the rootless Black City would be the safest place. You don't have to worry about me. I have the ability to walk away." Ji Luofei also understood the meaning of Ning Cheng's words. Ning Cheng's miniature world was indeed too unstable in the void. If it did not contain any life, it could still be used as a ring. However, once it contained life, the spatial laws of the miniature world would become even more unstable. In many cases, Ning Cheng would need to divide his attention to protect the miniature world. "Okay, Zhu and I will wait for you here." Ji Luofei finally nodded. She agreed to Ning Cheng's words. "Zimo, I will not be in the rootless Black City." This time, the cultivator army suffered a lot of losses. "While I lead the exploding golden wasps away, you must take some people to stabilize the rootless Black City." If anyone tries to take advantage of the chaos, kill them without mercy. Ning Cheng once again reminded Shen Zimo, who was standing on the side waiting for orders. In fact, there was no need for Ning Cheng to say those words. All the cultivators felt extremely fearful of Ning Cheng, the city master. With so many exploding golden wasps surrounding the rootless Black City, one could say that no one had the ability to rush out of the rootless Black City. However, Ning Cheng managed to rush out unscathed and even killed a bunch of exploding golden wasps. Chapter 477. After Ning Cheng finished speaking, he did not rush out of the rootless Black City. Instead, he rushed into the city. Since the void explosive golden wasps besieged the city, almost all the cultivators within the rootless Black City had come to the city walls to resist the explosive golden wasps. After Ning Cheng rushed into the city, he did not encounter a single person. If not for the countless cultivators fighting against the explosive golden wasps above the city walls, one might have thought that this was a dead city in such a quiet place. After the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, Ning Cheng arrived at a very remote street. A dark shadow on seeing Ning Cheng suddenly jumped up in panic. This dark shadow turned into a faintly discernible shadow as it passed in front of Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng's false domain unfolded, and at the same time, several axe shadows shot out. Within Ning Cheng's false domain, this lightning-like dark shadow instantly slowed down. Ning Cheng could clearly see that this dark shadow was not much bigger than a domestic cat. Its entire body was pitch black, and its fur was as smooth as a mirror. This was obviously a very agile monstrous beast. Moreover, this monstrous beast even had a single horn on its head. The monstrous beast, bound by Ning Cheng's false domain, suddenly panicked and started to crazily struggle. However, without waiting for this monstrous beast to break free from Ning Cheng's false domain, Ning Cheng's 12 axe shadows had already arrived. These 12 axe shadows turned into 3 axe traces, which completely sealed this one-horned monstrous beast. Poof! A sound emerged, and a line of blood spurted out. This monstrous beast could only struggle a few times within Ning Cheng's false domain before Ning Cheng's cosmic true devil axe split it into 2 halves. With a pata sound, it fell to the ground. Ning Cheng did not care about the monstrous beast he just killed. Instead, he took out a storage talisman from the claw of this monstrous beast. Ning Cheng quickly broke open the storage talisman, revealing a basketball-sized grayish-white giant egg. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh. It really was a Wasp King egg. When he was still outside the rootless Black City, his spiritual consciousness had already sensed the familiar aura of the exploding golden wasp's Wasp King egg within the rootless Black City. The reason why it was familiar was that he had seen this Wasp King egg before. Now that he had killed this unknown monster, the Wasp King egg that he had obtained was indeed one of the 2 Wasp King eggs that he had encountered before. A few years ago, in the mountain range with the Blue Essence Stone Mine, he saw 2 exploding golden wasp's Wasp King eggs. At that time, he only managed to snatch one of the Wasp King eggs. Because he was not greedy and only managed to snatch one, after he sealed the Wasp King egg, the void explosive golden wasps did not chase after him. Unexpectedly, after such a long time, the other Wasp King egg not only did not hatch, but instead ended up stolen by a small monstrous beast into the rootless Black City. For the void explosive golden wasps, the only Wasp King egg was inside the rootless Black City. As such, it would have been strange if the void explosive golden wasps did not crazily attack the rootless Black City. Ning Cheng understood that this Wasp King egg was not brought in by the monstrous beast he had just killed. It must have been the work of the void battleship outside. This monstrous beast had also come under orders to bring this Wasp King egg to the rootless Black City to attract the attention of the exploding golden wasps and the cultivators of the rootless Black City. As for why the cultivator in the void battleship did this, Ning Cheng still couldn't understand it. However, that fellow probably did not think that he had seen this Wasp King egg before. Therefore, as soon as he arrived outside the rootless Black City, he immediately felt the aura of the Wasp King egg. The moment Ning Cheng took out the Wasp King egg, the void explosive golden wasps outside the city immediately attacked the rootless black city even more fiercely. Fortunately, Ning Cheng managed to seal the aura of the Wasp King egg in the shortest possible time, before quickly rushing out of the rootless black city. Ning Cheng rushed out of the rootless black city at a very fast speed. Except for a few cultivators who saw it, most of the cultivators did not even feel it. Just as he rushed out of the rootless black city, the endless exploding golden wasps once again surrounded him. Ning Cheng once again used a modified version of the maximal flame spiritual technique. A line of fire erupted out, and a passage directly led to the void battleship sealed by the array flags. Under the stimulation of the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, Ning Cheng arrived at the side of the battleship in just a breath. At the same time, his Nirvana spear also struck the array disc covering the black void battleship. Catcha, a sound emerged, and the top-grade concealment array disc, under Ning Cheng's full strength, instantly turned into slag. A huge black void battleship appeared in front of Ning Cheng, however, this black void battleship's door was still ajar. Ning Cheng's figure flashed as he entered the battleship's ajar door. Most likely, this door was not for him, but for the monstrous beast that he had killed. A scarlet-robed youth sat on the floor of the battleship, apparently in the process of healing himself. His injuries were extremely serious, with a huge bloody hole running through his chest, causing his aura to wither. "Who are you?" The scarlet-robed youth on seeing Ning Cheng rush into the battleship immediately stared at Ning Cheng and asked. A murderous aura started to gather around him, however, his injuries were just too severe. Even if he wanted to attack Ning Cheng, he would not have the strength to do so. Ning Cheng did not speak any nonsense. The Nirvana spear in his hand shot out and directly stabbed towards the scarlet-robed man's glabella. He did not care about who this man was. Since this person dared to guide the void explosive golden wasps to destroy the rootless black city, then for Ning Cheng, this person was an enemy, not a friend. As such, there was no need to show any courtesy. "Stop!" The scarlet-robed youth shouted out in anger. His expression looked just like an ant trying to bite an elephant. Even with Ning Cheng's cultivation, he still dared to attack him. How could Ning Cheng stop? The Nirvana spear's spear intent erupted to the extreme. Bang! What shocked Ning Cheng was that such a powerful spear intent, which was aimed at a severely injured youth, ended up being caught by this youth's hand. Ning Cheng was sure that if this youth were not seriously injured, he would not be able to stand in front of this scarlet-robed youth. Poof! The scarlet-robed youth caught the spearhead and spat out another mouthful of blood. Although his cultivation was more than double that of Ning Cheng's, it was a pity that his injuries were equally terrifying. Otherwise, it would have been absolutely impossible for these void explosive golden wasps to block his path. Moreover, it was also impossible for Ning Cheng to hurt him. Because of such heavy injuries, when he grabbed Ning Cheng's Nirvana spear, it also caused his injuries to worsen, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood on the spot. Ning Cheng felt his heart tremble, but he did not dare to neglect his actions. He immediately brought out all 36 axes. This was the first time he had encountered such a powerful opponent. Although Tsang Wei was powerful, he and Tsang Wei were friends. However, this scarlet-robed youth was definitely an enemy rather than a friend. Buzz buzz buzz. Bursts of axe shadows crisscrossed the interior of the battleship. These axe shadows instantly formed an axe-killing entrapment array, trapping the scarlet-robed youth within. The scarlet-robed youth once again spat out a few mouthfuls of blood and could no longer hold on to Ning Cheng's Nirvana spear. His hands slightly loosened, allowing Ning Cheng's Nirvana spear to turn in a half-arc in front of his eyes, before once again bursting with killing intent. Ah! The scarlet-robed youth erupted with a burst of screams. He suddenly stood up and punched Ning Cheng's Nirvana spear's spearhead. The seemingly endless spear intent seemed to have no effect on the scarlet-robed youth's fist. A powerful true essence backlash erupted, causing the long spear in Ning Cheng's hand to fly out and hit the roof of the void battleship, giving out a loud clanging sound. Ning Cheng also flew out and hit the wall of the battleship, spitting out a few mouthfuls of blood. It looked like Ning Cheng had been injured by the battleship's wall, however, only Ning Cheng knew that he had been injured by the other party's terrifying true essence. Otherwise, with his rank 6 imperial body, no matter what, he would not have ended up vomiting blood. Although the scarlet-robed youth had injured Ning Cheng, his injuries were just too terrifying. The 36 cosmic true devil axes formed an axe-killing array, causing it to explode onto his body. Puff puff. Once again spurting out a few mouthfuls of blood, the scarlet-robed youth finally slumped to the ground once again. Ning Cheng's cosmic true devil axes had left a deep bloody groove on one of his shoulders. Even with the quality of Ning Cheng's cosmic true devil axes, coupled with Ning Cheng's powerful axe intent, it unexpectedly could not split open half of his shoulders. From this, it could be seen that this person's cultivation was several levels higher compared to Ning Cheng's. Ning Cheng did not even have the time to wipe the blood from his mouth, as he raised his hand, causing the Nirvana spear to once again appear in his hand. The next moment, he rushed towards the scarlet-robed youth with even more madness. Puff, another sound emerged as the spear pierced through flesh and blood. The scarlet-robed youth sitting on the ground was finally unable to continue. The Nirvana spear pierced through his glabella, destroying his sea of consciousness. Even so, the Nirvana spear was still unable to completely blow up his head. The scarlet-robed youth slowly raised his hand, holding the Nirvana spear that had pierced through his glabella, as he coldly stared at Ning Cheng and spoke, "You will regret this." After saying these words, the scarlet-robed youth finally could not hold on any longer and fell to the ground. Chapter 478. Bang! Only at this moment did a void explosive golden wasp rush into the void battleship. From this, one could see how short the battle between Ning Cheng and the scarlet-robed youth was. Facing the exploding golden wasps that suddenly rushed into the void battleship, even if Ning Cheng wanted to regret it, it was too late. What's more, facing a fellow who used the exploding golden wasps to massacre the city, he would not regret killing the opposite party. The moment the exploding golden wasps rushed in, Ning Cheng brought out the everlasting Blue Thunder City. He did not even have the time to pull out his Nirvana spear. The 36 axes all chopped down on the void explosive golden wasp. Bang bang bang. A series of explosions rang out as the exploding golden wasp's stinger burst apart. The golden light struck the everlasting Blue Thunder City, but it did not cause any damage to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng had the everlasting Blue Thunder City to block the attacks. Although the exploding golden wasps had a strong defense, they could not stop Ning Cheng's 36 small axes. The powerful axe intent directly chopped off the head of the exploding golden wasp. After killing the exploding golden wasp, Ning Cheng did not wait for the next exploding golden wasp to rush in. He stepped towards the console of the battleship and pulled the close button. Gotcha! The battleship's door closed in the shortest time possible. The few exploding golden wasps that had just rushed in struck the outside of the battleship with their mouths, causing the battleship to shake. Ning Cheng did not dare to delay for even a moment and rushed to the console of the battleship. He could see that this battleship had a higher performance compared to his 5-star battleship Sifting Orchid, however, it was not an intelligent one. Sifting Orchid could control the battleship by itself and did not even have a console. However, this battleship had a console. Ning Cheng also had some doubts. He could not find a place with an intelligent control system, or perhaps this intelligent control system also needed to recognize a master. When the battleship was overturned by a swarm of exploding golden wasps, Ning Cheng finally found the takeoff button on the console. Ning Cheng easily started the battleship. As soon as the battleship started to move, the void explosive golden wasps immediately discovered it. Nevertheless, the exploding golden wasps did not swarm over. Ning Cheng did not hesitate to take out the void explosive golden wasp's Wasp King egg. Not only did he not use any restrictions to seal the aura, but he also deliberately let the aura leak out. At this time, the rootless Black City's inner defensive array had already cracked, causing all the cultivators guarding the rootless Black City to feel despair. However, at this moment, the seemingly endless exploding golden wasps unexpectedly stopped their attack. Without waiting for everyone to understand what was going on, the exploding golden wasps all swarmed towards the Black Void battleship. The Black Void battleship hovered over the rootless Black City for a long time before swaying crookedly over it. Regardless of whether the battleship continued to shake or not, at least the exploding golden wasps no longer continued to attack the rootless Black City. All the void exploding golden wasps, after Ning Cheng took out the exploding golden wasp king egg, immediately chased after the Black Void battleship. The cultivators standing atop the walls of the rootless Black City, at this moment, seemed to have forgotten about the power of the exploding golden wasps. All of them stared at the Black Void battleship in front of them. Until Shen Zimo remembered Yimo's words and shouted, "City Lord Ning lured the exploding golden wasps away. Association Lord will quickly bring people to repair the array formation." Yes, yes. Wu Yingxia and the surrounding people quickly reacted and quickly repaired the city protecting array formation, which was riddled with holes due to the exploding golden wasps' attacks. Even more cultivators anxiously looked at the black battleship swaying over the rootless Black City. They did not know why this black battleship did not escape and instead just circled around the rootless Black City. Ji Luofei felt even more anxious in her heart. She knew that Ning Cheng was inside the void battleship. It was not that Ning Cheng did not want to escape, rather, he did not know how to operate the void battleship. Hearing the void battleship issuing a harsh grinding sound, Ning Cheng knew that if he did not quickly leave this place, the void battleship would eventually fall apart. After a dozen breaths, bang! A white line shot out from the back of the void battleship. The void battleship finally stopped swaying around the rootless Black City and directly rushed into the endless void. The endless void exploding golden wasps on seeing the void battleship leave quickly chased after it. In just half an incense stick worth of time, not a single void exploding golden wasps could be seen outside the rootless Black City. If not for the broken array formation and the broken corpses of the exploding golden wasps, no one would have believed that this place was besieged by an endless horde of void exploding golden wasps just half an incense stick worth of time ago. Feeling the joy of being reborn after death, everyone could not believe that these void exploding golden wasps had suddenly disappeared. Some of the cultivators started hesitating about leaving the rootless Black City, lest they end up surrounded by the void exploding golden wasps again in the future. Shen Zimo flew to the top of the rootless Black City's city wall and spoke out loudly, "Fellow Dao friends of the rootless Black City, our city master Ning has just returned." The endless horde of exploding golden wasps has now been led away by City Master Ning. Without City Master Ning leading the exploding golden wasps away, we would have already turned into ghosts under the jaws of the exploding golden wasps. City Master Ning used his own life to save our city. City Master Ning. City Master Ning is eternal. Some of the cultivators who did not understand how the void exploding golden wasps managed to escape immediately understood what was going on. Even the cold-blooded cultivators felt grateful at this moment and cheered. Only Ji Luofei and Yi Zhuzhu felt worried. With so many void exploding golden wasps, could Ning Cheng hide from them? Shen Zimo on seeing this quickly spoke up again. "Before City Master Ning left, he told me that the rootless Black City belongs to all of us. Although the exploding golden wasps have left, it is hard to guarantee that no other void monstrous beasts would come here in the future. Therefore, we have to hurry up and set up the city protecting Grand Array." At this moment, no matter what Shen Zimo said, everyone would respond. Not a single person would stand up and say even half a word against it. Compared to the ease of the rootless Black City, Ning Cheng was indeed struggling. 3 days later, he finally understood why the scarlet-robed youth hid inside the exploding golden wasp's swarm to heal. Previously, he had only activated the energy button of the void battleship. However, it was not until just now that he found the energy indicator for the void battleship. From the energy indicator, Ning Cheng could see that there was not much energy left. According to the current consumption rate of the void battleship, it would take at most half a month for the energy to run out. The scarlet-robed youth feared that the energy would run out. Since his injuries had not healed, he did not throw away the exploding golden wasps. Therefore, he decided to lure the exploding golden wasps away to massacre the city, while he took advantage of the gap to heal. It was not until the fourth day that Ning Cheng found the void coordinate map of the void battleship. At the same time, he also learned how to control the direction of the battleship without using his spiritual consciousness, allowing his sea of consciousness to finally relax. Otherwise, using his spiritual consciousness to guide the direction of the void battleship would have been too tiring. Because his spiritual consciousness relaxed, Ning Cheng's void battleship's speed also soared. Initially, some of the exploding golden wasps were able to overtake the void battleship, but Ning Cheng quickly left them behind. Nevertheless, Ning Cheng still felt very worried in his heart. This void battleship could only fly for half a month at most. What about after half a month? According to Ning Cheng's original idea, he intended to lure the void explosive golden wasps away from the rootless Black City before sending out the explosive golden wasps' Wasp King egg. As long as those void explosive golden wasps obtained the Wasp King egg, he should be safe. After all, he never thought of occupying two void explosive golden wasps' Wasp King eggs. However, this place was too close to the rootless Black City. Moreover, he had heard that the void explosive golden wasps were very vengeful demonic insects. Once these explosive golden wasps obtained the Wasp King egg, then these explosive golden wasps would most likely return to the rootless Black City to massacre the entire city. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng felt even more uncertain in his heart. The scarlet-robed youth must have obtained the explosive golden Wasp King egg from the Blue Essence Stone Mine Mountain Range. However, he did not know if there were any explosive golden wasps among these explosive golden wasps that he had seen before. If there were, then maybe these explosive golden wasps would recognize him as the culprit behind the theft of the explosive golden wasp's Wasp King egg. If the void explosive golden wasps recognized him, then even if he handed over the two explosive golden wasps' Wasp King eggs, it would not end well for him. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng suddenly felt a headache. If he wanted to completely solve this problem, then he had to completely exterminate these explosive golden wasps. However, with so many void explosive golden wasps, it was almost impossible for him to exterminate them all. Seeing that the energy inside the void battleship was getting lower and lower, Ning Cheng started to feel more and more anxious. At this moment, Ning Cheng's only hope was the scarlet-haired youth's ring. The red-haired youth's ring's restriction was somewhat complex, and even Ning Cheng could not fully unlock it in a short time. What he thought was that once he unlocked the red-haired youth's ring, he would have enough energy to lure these void explosive golden wasps as far away as possible. On the 13th day, Ning Cheng saw that the energy indicator on the void battleship's energy indicator was getting lower and lower, causing him to feel more and more anxious. These explosive golden wasps were like maggots in a tarsal bone, with hundreds of them following him. As long as he slowed down even a little, the rest of the explosive golden wasps would quickly catch up. At this time, he had not even unlocked the restriction on the scarlet-robed youth's ring, let alone using the energy inside to replenish the void battleship. Just as Ning Cheng was anxiously thinking of countermeasures, he saw a bright spot on the void battleship's monitoring screen. As the bright spot grew clearer and clearer, Ning Cheng quickly judged that it was a flight-type weapon. This flight-type weapon was obviously flying in his direction, causing Ning Cheng to feel even more anxious in his heart. After fighting with the scarlet-robed youth, he knew that his cultivation was nothing compared to the endless void. This flight-type weapon dared to follow the explosive golden wasps unscrupulously, which meant that it definitely was not an ordinary person. Sure enough, Ning Cheng saw the flight-type weapon rushing into the swarm of void explosive golden wasps. The void explosive golden wasps, which could massacre an entire city, simply could not withstand a single blow in front of this flight-type weapon. Large swathes of them were killed. They simply couldn't stop this flying magic treasure for even half a breath of time. Nevertheless, the swarm of void explosive golden wasps still swarmed towards Ning Cheng, and not a single one of them retreated. Ning Cheng's heart sank even more. He could not deal with these exploding golden wasps, but now that such a terrifying expert had appeared, what could he do? This expert must have felt the aura of the exploding golden wasp's Wasp King egg and decided to chase after them. Chapter 479. Ning Qing immediately entered the mysterious yellow bead and sealed the other exploding golden wasp's wasp king egg before throwing it into the miniature world ring. The mysterious yellow bead's origin was incomplete. Apart from himself, anything that stayed inside the mysterious yellow bead for a long time could be refined by the mysterious yellow bead and turn into nothingness. The Yu clan's ancestral hall remained silent. Everyone was waiting for the old man to announce the important matter worth celebrating. In addition to the anxiety in her heart, she also continued to search for various high-level materials for crafting talismans. Incandescent star. Everyone knew what it meant to control the refining of void-cleaving talismans in the incandescent star. From the void battleship's monitoring screen, Ning Qing calculated that the powerhouse would only need 20 breaths of time to catch up to him. This powerhouse could easily destroy a bunch of exploding golden wasps. If they wanted to deal with him, it would not take much effort. Ning Cheng's eyes looked at the void battleship's monitoring screen, but his mind was anxiously thinking of various countermeasures. After a few breaths, Ning Qing stared at the void battleship's monitoring screen and made up his mind. In the face of such a powerhouse, he would rather enter the spatial collapse than fall into the hands of the other party. Ning Qing tried to stimulate the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. He wanted to rush out of the canyon and see what was outside. He had just rushed out a few dozen miles when a powerful suction force pulled him back down to the bottom of the canyon. Yes. The boy responded and quickly left. This powerhouse did not expect that Ning Cheng would suddenly turn around and rush into the spatial collapse. It was simply courting death. She had already rushed to the edge of the void battleship, but she was not stupid enough to follow Ning Cheng into the spatial collapse. Uncle Master Yangji. The boy guarding outside the immortal cave saw the man in luxurious robes come out and quickly bowed to greet him. Today, I want to announce the most important and most worthy of celebration. The black-haired old man looked at the rest of the people and finally could not help but speak with an excited tone. My Yu clan is the most powerful talisman crafting clan in the history of the incandescent star. Many of our clan's powerhouses tore through the interface and entered the starry skies. But in the last 2,000 years, our Yu clan's top talisman crafting talents have withered. Not to mention a Tier 9 talisman crafting Grand Master, even a Tier 7 talisman crafting Grand Master is as rare as a phoenix feather or a Qilin horn. It was just that the heaven-opening talisman was too precious. She had participated in countless auctions and sold almost everything she had, but she still couldn't get a single heaven-opening talisman. She hoped that one day, the Yu clan would be able to refine the heaven-opening talisman and give it to her. It was not that she did not think of using some means, but once she offended the Yu clan, it was tantamount to sealing off this road. But because of her urgent desire to return to Ning Cheng's side, she did not dare to offend the Yu clan's talisman master. As for solving the problem through killing, she didn't even think about it. At this time, Ning Cheng could only rejoice in his heart. Fortunately, he did not bring Ji Luofei and Yi Zhuzhu out with him. Otherwise, it would truly be courting death. Just when she felt incomparably angry, endless void explosive golden wasps swarmed over. These void explosive golden wasps completely ignored the void collapse and directly rushed towards the powerhouse, blocking the entrance of the void collapse. This powerhouse secretly cursed at her bad luck. The void explosive golden wasps could do anything to find the wasp king egg, but she did not want to die. At this moment, she desperately wanted to escape from this entrance. Ning Qing gave out a sigh, knowing that there was no use in being anxious. He took out the Nirvana spear and held it in his hand before moving forward along the curved path at the bottom of the valley. After half an incense stick worth of time, more than a dozen people sat in the Yu clan's ancestral hall. He did not care about anything else. What he cared about was Luofei worrying about him. Fortunately, he and Luofei had a heart knot, which was formed from each other's life essence. As long as he was safe and sound, Luofei would know about it. Therefore, Ning Qing decided to stay inside the mysterious yellow bead, desperately wrapping his body with his spiritual consciousness. He did not know how long he would stay in this collapsed spatial space. If the small world were to melt, he would be left with nothing. The incandescent star's laws were not perfect, However, it was not a broken world. Therefore, there was no heaven's way in the incandescent star. After cultivating to a certain extent, as long as one wanted to leave the incandescent star, whether it was by relying on a void battleship or relying on one's own cultivation, one would have to rely on the void-cleaving talisman. Ning Cheng immediately came out of the mysterious yellow bead and found himself standing on a hard ground. In this place, his spiritual consciousness could not sweep out much further, even a range of several dozen miles was the limit. His current position seemed to be at the bottom of a huge canyon, with rocky walls on both sides that even his spiritual consciousness could not reach. Moreover, he could not even see the end of the canyon. It reminded Ning Cheng of the original appearance of the Angry Axe Valley, which was also a long and narrow canyon. Ha! In the most luxurious immortal cave of the Yu clan, a burst of laughter emerged, followed by a middle-aged man wearing luxurious robes walking out of the immortal cave. Without finding her parents, Shi Qianghua did not want to stay in this place for another day. The only thing in her mind was to return to Ning Cheng's side as soon as possible. Speaking until here, the black-haired old man stood up and raised his hand before speaking, but today, my Yu clan once again produced a Tier 9 talisman refining ancestor. Yes, it is nephew Yang Ji. Nephew Yang Ji can already refine Tier 9 void-cleaving talismans. After the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, apart from the entrance to the void collapse, there were no longer any exploding golden wasps. Sitting in the seat of honor was a black-haired old man. His eyes were filled with joy, as if he could not wait to announce something. In this way, Shi Qianghua continued to collect all kinds of precious materials and hand them over to the people of the Yu clan, just to help Yu Yangji practice and improve his attainments in talisman crafting. The black-haired old man's words stopped. He did not need to continue, as the entire ancestral hall had already erupted into discussions. All kinds of excited noises could be heard, along with all kinds of longing. He had already decided that if he could not get out of this place after walking for a few days, then he would forcibly fly out of this valley. At worst, he would have to take a break along the way. He did not believe that he could not leave this place. What worried Ning Cheng the most was, after leaving the bottom of this valley, where would he appear? Would it be the void near the rootless Black City? Or would it be a completely unfamiliar place? Shi Qianghua knew that this was not the way to go. However, if she wanted to leave this place, then besides looking for the Yu clan, she really had no other way. She was not a ruthless person. If replaced with Ning Cheng, she would have already gone to their door, or at least forced the other party to come up with a pile of spirit stones. A powerful suction force came from the collapse of the void. Even with her powerful cultivation, she could not help but rush into the collapse. In terms of cultivation, she was more than twice as powerful compared to Ning Cheng. In the face of this terrifying suction force from the void collapse, she could barely stabilize her figure. It was just that she could no longer hold on to the void battleship, as the void collapse had already swallowed it up without a trace. This was a continent where true cultivation and technology developed at the same pace. Relatively speaking, the development of technological civilization was much faster. She was Shi Qianghua. Since coming to the Qin Wu city, she realized that Uncle Yu had lied to her for the first time. This was not the place where her parents lived at all. For her, this was a completely unfamiliar city. This city had two major aristocratic families, one was the Xian clan, and the other was the Yu clan. Unfortunately, she did not know how many materials she had given away. Not to mention the heaven-opening talisman, she could not even obtain an escape talisman. Every time she heard the Yu clan's reply, she would have to wait a little longer. Grandmaster Yu Yangji was still practicing and should be able to refine the heaven-opening talisman soon. Only by using the void-cleaving talisman to tear open the incandescent star's interface could one enter the lowest level of the void and search for life within the starry skies. In desperation, she could only seek help from Yu clan's Yu Yangji. Yu Yangji's level was the closest talisman grandmaster to refining the heaven-opening talisman. She wanted to ask Yu Yangji to help her refine an heaven-opening talisman. At this time, Ning Cheng wanted to send out a flying messenger's sword to tell Luofei that he was fine. However, he feared that his flying messenger sword would be intercepted by this powerhouse. Immediately inform the clan head. I have important news to announce. This man in luxurious robes was the Yu clan's premier talisman refining grandmaster, Yu Yangji. At this time, he was in a very good mood. As soon as Ning Qing entered the void collapse, he felt the void battleship disintegrating. Facing such a terrifying void tier, nothing could withstand it. The Yu clan was not only the premier talisman refining aristocratic family of the Ink Essence Star, but they also had a Tier 8 talisman grandmaster, Yu Yangji. The reason why this woman handed over these materials to the Yu clan was that she wanted to ask the Yu clan's Yu Yangji to help her refine a void-cleaving talisman, allowing her to return to the sifting orchid star. At the edge of the void collapse, she stopped and raised her hand to grab the void battleship. The surrounding space was also grayish, with extremely low visibility. Not only that, but the temperature here was also very high. Ning Qing estimated that it was at least 40 to 50 degrees Celsius. If an ordinary person were here, it would not take long for them to roast to death. Above the canyon, in front of and behind them, was a grayish world. After hesitating for a moment, the powerhouse's face finally became clear. It was a female cultivator. Ning Qing did not dare to delay for even half a moment. He struggled to control the void battleship and rushed into the void collapse. Ning Qing could feel that this was not the effect of gravity. The gravity at the bottom of this valley was several times stronger than on Earth. However, this bit of gravity was not enough to restrain him. This was a natural flight restriction that prevented him from flying any higher. As for these materials and jade strips, she handed them over to the Qin Wu City's Yu clan. The Ink Essence Star's Qin Wu City was one of the few major cities in the Ink Essence Star. At this time, a white-robed woman with a veil over her face walked into the Qin Wu City with melancholy eyes. She would leave the Qin Wu City every day and go to the makeshift markets around the Qin Wu City to post some information and purchase a variety of talisman crafting materials and some talisman crafting jade strips. However, it was already too late, and she had no choice but to go in. The endless void explosive golden wasps wrapped around her, and all of them fell into the boundless void collapse. Even so, the void explosive golden wasps that followed behind did not stop and rushed into the void collapse one after another. The mysterious yellow bead tumbled in the collapsed space, and Ning Qing did not dare to release his spiritual consciousness. Not knowing for how long, Ning Qing felt that the mysterious yellow bead seemed to have stopped. Only then did he release his spiritual consciousness. Only then did he discover that he was already safe and in a quiet place. Chapter 480. An excited atmosphere filled the entire ancestral hall. How many cultivators in Ink Essence Planet needed a void-cleaving talisman? One could imagine that in the future, every void-cleaving talisman of the Yu clan would be sold for a sky-high price. Countless cultivators would come to the Qin Wu City to purchase void-cleaving talismans from the Yu clan. Just give that sure woman a void-breaking talisman and forget about it. A Yu clan elder suddenly spoke up. He knew that the reason why the Yu clan's Yu Yangji could become a Tier 9 talisman crafting Grand Master was because of this female cultivator. The most important thing was that the cultivation of this female cultivator called Shi Qianghua was simply too terrifying. Yu Yangji gave a faint smile and said in a calm voice, "The price of a void-cleaving talisman is sky-high in the Ink Essence Star. Moreover, what she wants is a void-cleaving talisman of a higher grade than the void-cleaving talisman." "I still can't refine a void-cleaving talisman," Yu Yangji didn't continue, but everyone understood what he meant. The black-haired old man nodded and said, "Yangji is right. Every void-cleaving talisman is priceless. We can't just casually give it away. But that woman's cultivation is a little too high. Even in the Ink Origin Star, there aren't many existences that are stronger than her. What if?" Upon hearing the black-haired old man's words, the elder who had spoken earlier became increasingly worried. Yu Yangji sneered and spoke, "My Yu clan is the premier talisman crafting clan in the entire Ink Essence Star. Moreover, I've already advanced to the Tier 9 Talisman Grandmaster realm. Why would I fear a puny female cultivator like her? I heard that she has an ancient copper coin that is extremely powerful. This is the Treasure Fall copper coin. I'm afraid that even if I sold my entire Yu clan, I still wouldn't be able to buy even a corner of this copper coin. The elder still wanted to say something, but the black-haired old man immediately slapped the table in front of him and said, that female cultivator should be an outsider. What she wants the most right now is to leave the Ink Essence Star. I agree with nephew Yang Ji's words to let that female cultivator come to my Yu clan. Regardless of whether she agrees or not, the copper coin of Treasure Fall must remain with my Yu clan. Yang Ji will use it in the future. When Yang Ji heard what the black-haired elder said, he felt very satisfied. He had been coveting Shi Qionghua's copper coin of Treasure Fall for a long time. After he became a Tier 9 Talisman Grandmaster, he had refined a large number of offensive talismans with the sole purpose of dealing with Shi Qionghua. Even if the Yu clan did not support him, he still had to grab Shi Qionghua's copper coin. As long as he obtained that copper coin, he would have the capital to go to the void in the future. No matter the cost, he had to get the copper coins. When Shi Qionghua came to know that Yu Yangji had advanced to the Tier 9 Talisman Grand Master, she did not feel much surprise in her heart. Instead, she was thinking about how to obtain a void-cleaving talisman from the Yu clan. Even if she couldn't get a space-cleaving talisman, she would at least get a void-cleaving talisman. As for continuing to look for materials for the Yu clan, she no longer wanted to do it. Even if she didn't have a space-breaking talisman, it was still the same for her. Shi Qionghuo had just arrived at the Yu clan when she felt that something was wrong. She and Ning Cheng had been together for some time now, and was influenced by Ning Cheng, causing her to always have a bit of vigilance in her heart. So, she stood in the yard of the Yu family and did not go in. However, there was no need for her to go in, as dozens of cultivators had completely sealed off the Yu clan's courtyard at this moment. Yu Yangji, I just want a void-cleaving talisman, don't you think you're going too far? Shi Qionghuo spoke with a calm tone, without even half a shred of panic. Ha! Yu Yangji laughed wildly. Shi Qionghuo, you want a void-cleaving talisman? You make it sound so simple. Do you know how many precious materials are needed to refine a void-cleaving talisman? Do you know how many spirit stones a void-cleaving talisman can sell for? You opened your mouth and asked for a void-cleaving talisman. Who is the one going too far? Shi Qionghua's face turned pale with anger. The materials she had given to the Yu clan over the years, not to mention refining a void-cleaving talisman, even refining a void-cleaving talisman was enough to refine more than 10 void-cleaving talismans. However, at this time, the other party actually asked her how many spirit stones a void-cleaving talisman would cost. Her husband was right, greedy people would always be greedy. She was just too kind. Yu Gu, the materials I have given to the Yu clan over the years, not to mention refining a void-cleaving talisman, even refining a stack of void-cleaving talismans would be more than enough. If not for my support, would Yu Yangji even be able to advance to the Tier 9 Talisman Grand Master? Shi Qionghuo, despite her anger, still spoke with a calm tone. The cultivator referred to by Shi Qionghuo as Yu Gu was the black-haired old man, the clan head of the Yu clan. When he heard Shi Qionghua's words, he stood up and cupped his fists before speaking in a calm voice. Dao friend Shi, if not for your materials, I would not have sold the void-cleaving talisman to you. However, even if you have a lot of materials, if you do not refine them into talismans, they would only be a pile of waste. So be it, I'll make the decision. You have a copper coin. If you take out that copper coin as a reward, my Yu clan will give you a void-cleaving talisman. Shi Qionghuo did not speak again, nor did she try to explain. The greed of the Yu clan was beyond her imagination. Not to mention that this copper coin was given to her by Ning Cheng, she would never take it out. Even if she took it out, she knew in her heart that the Yu clan would never let her go. Today, even if she had to self-destruct, she had to learn from her husband's actions. Shi Qionghuo did not hesitate to bring out her blue sword, while simultaneously bringing out the 5 elements treasure fall copper coin. She wants to start, let's go together. Yu Guan, seeing Shi Qianghua start, immediately roared out and brought out his own magical weapon. Unfortunately, Shi Qianghua did not enter the Yu clan's reception hall, otherwise, Shi Qianghua would not have the ability to resist at all. Boom boom boom. Ka ka ka. Terrifying explosions and the bombardment of various magical weapons erupted in the Yu clan's courtyard, and the entire Qin Wu city could hear it clearly. However, no one dared to approach the Yu clan. A lot of people who knew about the situation understood that this was a fight between the Qin Wu city's premier expert, Shi Qianghua, and the Yu clan. As for the reason, no one thought that Shi Qianghua was in the wrong. Although Shi Qianghua's cultivation was the highest in the Qin Wu city, she never bullied the weak. Moreover, the transactions were conducted in accordance with the rules, without even a shred of bullying. However, the Yu clan was equally powerful, and was also the premier talisman crafting aristocratic family of the incandescent star. As such, no one was willing to offend the Yu clan casually. The explosions in the Yu clan lasted for most of the day, before gradually subsiding. On this day, a major event occurred in the incandescent star's Qin Wu city. The Yu clan, which had been flourishing for a while, wanted to snatch the magical weapon of a female cultivator. As a result, both sides ended up perishing together. Almost all the elders of the Yu clan ended up dead, and only a few people managed to use the void-cleaving talisman to barely leave the incandescent star. Because of this incident, the Yu clan completely fell from grace in the Qin Wu city, not to mention dominating the entire incandescent star. Similarly, the premier female cultivator, Shi Qianghua, who originally lived in the Qin Wu city, also disappeared on this day. It was said that she ended up perishing together with the Yu clan's cultivators. Ning Qing suddenly stopped. He put his hand on his forehead, as he felt a burst of discomfort. This kind of discomfort was as if he had just lost the person closest to him. It was a feeling that made him unable to breathe. What's going on? Ning Qing took out the heart knot. The heart knot was safe and sound, indicating that Luofei was doing well. Did something happen to Ruolin? It stood to reason that since Ruolin and Rui Baishan were together, nothing should have happened to them. Qianghua. When Ning Qing thought of the name Shi Qianghua, his heart suddenly felt as if it had been struck by a huge iron awl. After his underworld soul flower was used up by Sun Hanrui, he had been looking for something similar to the underworld soul flower. It was because he wanted to save Uncle Yu and Xian Zimo. Although he knew that it was not realistic to find the Qin Wu city through these two people, it was still a glimmer of hope. It's just that the underworld soul flower was too rare. Perhaps he could only find it after entering the starry skies. Today, he had not even entered the starry skies, but he already felt a trace of uneasiness. This trace of uneasiness was definitely brought to him by Qianghua. Ning Qing sat down and grabbed his hair with his hands. He hated himself for being too weak. If he had the same strength as elder brother Tsang Wei, he could directly tear open the planar boundary and head to the incandescent star. Huff. Ning Qing took in a deep breath. He made up his mind that no matter what, he must speed up his cultivation. Tearing open the void boundary was his next goal. As long as he could achieve this goal, he would continue to tear open the void of the various planar boundaries to search for the Qin Wu city. A slight sound arrived, causing Ning Qing to feel surprised. He immediately put away these thoughts and looked up, only to find a broken silver battleship not far in front of him. The battleship was in ruins, and a female cultivator wearing a light blue robe climbed out of the broken silver battleship. He had been thinking about Shi Qianghua a moment ago, so he had not seen her. No, this female cultivator looked very familiar. It was the same female cultivator who had chased after him before. She could kill countless void explosive golden wasps with a single slap. After understanding this, Ning Cheng's scalp immediately exploded. He had never thought that even after escaping into the void, this female cultivator would still follow him like a lingering ghost. Chapter 481. This female cultivator in a light blue robe could only be described as ordinary, with slightly darker skin compared to the average female cultivator. Her eyes were big and bright, just like the stars in the night sky, making it impossible for people to ignore her. The tyrannical aura coming from her made Ning Qing feel a bit of fear. From this, he could see that this female cultivator was seriously injured. Even so, Ning Qing estimated that he was not her opponent. The blue-robed female cultivator also saw Ning Qing. She looked at Ning Qing from top to bottom before frowning. Who are you? With such a low cultivation, why are you in the Bright Void Gorge? This was the second time Ning Qing heard someone mention Bright Void. The first time was from Tsang Wei. Bright Void was the void between interfaces, and some people simply called it the Void. Since this woman knew about Bright Void, it meant that she was not from an ordinary true cultivator world. Perhaps she was a cultivator from the starry skies. Although this female cultivator had an ordinary appearance, there was a faint halo behind her. If these halos were a little more obvious, it would even remind Ning Qing of the ancient Chinese myths and legends of the gods, who were surrounded by circles of colorful halos behind them. From Ning Qing's memories, he knew that these halos were called the Light of Wisdom, also known as the Radiant Light, or the Light of Nature. Or perhaps there were other names for it, such as the Radiant Light. How could this blue-robed female cultivator have such a faint halo behind her? The blue-robed female cultivator, on seeing Ning Qing not answering, her face sank slightly. Did you not hear what I just asked you? Ning Qing saw that the other party did not have any intention to attack and quickly spoke up. I don't know. I was attracted by the void collapse and fell in here. It's you. Did you control the void battleship that I chased? What about the scarlet-robed young noble? How could he let you stay in his void battleship? And with your cultivation, how could you still be alive after the void collapse sucked that broken battleship in? The blue-robed female cultivator asked in shock. Apparently, she understood what was going on from Ning Qing's words. Hearing the blue-robed female cultivator's words, Ning Qing instantly understood. This female cultivator was not chasing after him. Regardless of whether this female cultivator sensed the aura of the Wasp King egg or not, she should have been chasing after the scarlet-robed youth. That scarlet-robed youth was the scarlet-robed young noble. He had killed the scarlet-robed youth and even piloted the other party's void battleship. As a result, this blue-robed female cultivator misunderstood him. After understanding this, Ning Qing felt extremely annoyed. If he had known this earlier, he would have never rushed into the void collapse and come to this damned place. I don't know. When I found this battleship, there was indeed a red-robed youth inside. He seems to have already died. I saw that this battleship was quite good, so I decided to take control and play around with it. I did not expect to be chased by the void explosive golden wasps, and ended up mistakenly entering this place. Ning Qing quickly spoke up with a smile. The blue-robed female cultivator walked up to Ning Qing and circled around Ning Qing before speaking up in a cold voice. What a load of nonsense. I seriously injured that scarlet-robed young noble, so he definitely would not die for no reason. You should be the one who killed the scarlet-robed prince. I didn't expect you to have so many trump cards. Putting aside the fact that you killed the red-robed young master with your low cultivation, you even managed to survive the spatial collapse. Cold sweat trickled down Ning Cheng's back. This woman wanted to force him to reveal his secrets. Even if the other party knew that he did it, he could not admit it. This senior, when I entered the battleship, I was already a dead scarlet-robed youth, then. The blue-robed female cultivator waved her hand. You don't have to refute it. With your little cleverness, you want to refute it in front of me? Do you want to say that someone else killed the red-robed young master? Then let me tell you, if someone else killed the red-robed young master, they would never leave behind the explosive golden wasp's Wasp King egg. Don't ask me how I know that you took away the explosive golden wasp's Wasp King egg. If you did not take away the Wasp King egg, would those explosive golden wasps be willing to chase after you? Would they even be willing to throw themselves into the void collapse? That would be strange. It should be because the red-robed young master was healing, and you took the opportunity to sneak attack him, right? Maybe you sneak attacked the red-robed young master while he was healing in the midst of the explosive golden wasp swarm. I have to admire you, you truly have a lot of courage. When Ning Qing heard this, he suddenly became speechless. This woman was too powerful. It was as if she had seen it with her own eyes. Lying in front of such a woman, one would have to bear a lot of pressure. Yes, I killed the red-robed young master. Ning Qing admitted to what he did. The blue-robed female cultivator showed a smile. You're dead. Do you know who the red-robed young master is? Since you dared to kill him, it would be strange if you did not end up dead. As long as you don't say anything, no one would know about it. Ning Qing, on seeing that this female cultivator did not seem to have any intention of killing him, felt a little relieved. The blue-robed female cultivator spoke up with disdain. If I don't say anything? Even if you don't say anything, others would already know about it. Since you killed the red-robed young master, you already have a mark on your body. As long as you go to the starry skies, you would immediately be caught. Ah! Ning Qing suddenly felt surprised. Because of the red-robed youth's last words, after he killed the red-robed youth, he had repeatedly checked his body with his spiritual consciousness. However, he did not find any traces or marks on his body. Seeing Ning Cheng's actions, the blue-robed female cultivator spoke up in a calm voice, you don't have to check again. Even I can't get rid of that mark. If you want to find it, then don't even dream about it. Ning Qing felt a little disappointed and gave up on continuing to check. He had no idea what kind of place this bright void gorge was. Since he ended up in such a place, he would have to wait until he got out of this place to find out about any dangers. Thinking of this, he calmly spoke up, I'm not the only one who killed the red-robed young master. If you hadn't seriously injured him, I wouldn't have been able to kill him. The blue-robed female cultivator did not expect Ning Qing to say such words. She froze for a moment before giggling, you reminded me. As long as I kill you, wouldn't everything be fine? Hearing the blue-robed female cultivator's words, Ning Qing immediately took a few steps back and put up his guard. The blue-robed female cultivator, on seeing Ning Cheng's appearance, spoke up in a speechless manner, don't be so nervous. I won't kill you. You helped me kill the red-robed young master. If I wanted to kill you, then it would be useless for you to be so nervous. You killed the seriously injured red-robed young master, but it's not enough in front of me. Ning Qing knew that the other party spoke the truth. Although he did not want to admit it, he could only put away his vigilance. If the other party wanted to kill him, then it would not take much effort. In the face of absolute strength, any vigilance would become useless. You don't want my exploding golden wasp king egg? Ning Qing asked in doubt. The blue-robed female cultivator snorted and spoke, exploding golden wasp king egg? Why would I want it? This kind of wasp king egg requires a pair to breed an exploding golden wasp king. Moreover, there is only one, which is not worth much. Moreover, the red-robed young master had once obtained one at the auction, which is why he wanted to snatch this exploding golden wasp king egg. Ning Qing froze for a while before asking again, in that case, why did the exploding golden wasp swarm chase after me? There is only one king egg. Even if they chased after it, it would not be of much use. If you don't understand anything, then don't talk nonsense. Let me show you. The blue-robed female cultivator took out a jade strip and threw it to Ning Qing. Ning Qing grabbed the jade strip and swept out with his spiritual consciousness. Soon, he understood what was going on. To breed the exploding golden wasp king egg, it had to be bred in pairs. The two king eggs were placed together, absorbing the wasp king's essence from each other. Until one of them fell into a disadvantageous position, the other would completely absorb the essence of the other and break out of the egg. Once the essence of the exploding golden wasp king egg was completely absorbed, it would lose all its value. If there was only one king egg, then other than the exploding golden wasp swarm, no one else could cultivate it. The exploding golden wasp swarm would take turns to use their own life essence to cultivate the king egg. After a long time, it would eventually break out of the shell. Moreover, the jade strip recorded the various breeding methods of the exploding golden wasp swarm, as well as the method to recognize its owner. Ning Qing felt overjoyed in his heart. He wanted such a jade strip, he did not expect to obtain it so easily. So that's how it is. Ning Qing calmly handed the jade strip in his hand to the blue-robed female cultivator. He guessed that the red-robed young master's ring also contained such a jade strip. The blue-robed female cultivator did not take the jade strip and casually spoke up, "This is for you. I guess that you will never have the opportunity to go out in your lifetime. Staying here and playing around with the exploding golden wasp king egg might not be a bad idea." "You're the one playing with the egg," Ning Qing felt very unhappy in his heart. The blue-robed female cultivator obviously felt Ning Cheng's unfriendliness, however, she ignored Ning Cheng and turned around to leave. Ning Cheng, on the other hand, had a good impression of her. This female cultivator seemed to have some principles and did not ask him how he managed to survive the spatial collapse unscathed. Ning Cheng followed up and asked, "Senior, can you tell me how to get out of the bright void gorge?" "Do you want to get out?" "Yes, I want to get out." Ning Cheng replied speechlessly. Wasn't this nonsense? Who would want to stay in such a place? "Oh, then tell me, how did you get out of here unscathed?" "As far as I know, even someone with a higher cultivation than me would find it difficult to survive a spatial collapse. Didn't you see that my most precious void battleship was crushed into pieces by the spatial collapse?" The blue-robed female cultivator spoke with a calm voice. Ning Qing immediately understood that it was not that she did not want to ask, but that she was waiting for him to speak. "Sorry, it's my secret." Ning Qing refused without hesitation. The blue-robed female cultivator showed a sweet smile, "It's good. How to get out of this place is also my secret." After saying that, the blue-robed female cultivator seemed to feel that it was not enough and added another sentence, "Don't even think about flying out of this place. With your cultivation, even if you flew for a few decades, you might not be able to reach the end. Also, in case you fall midway, you might even fall to your death." After saying that, the blue-robed female cultivator sped up her pace and soon disappeared from Ning Cheng's line of sight and spiritual consciousness. Ning Cheng did not chase after her. The other party's cultivation was higher than his. Since she did not want to say it, then forget it. He did not believe that he could not get out of this gorge with the mysterious yellow bead. Initially, he wanted to slowly fly up the gorge and then walk away from it. But after listening to the blue-robed female cultivator's words, he dispelled the idea. He believed that the blue-robed female cultivator did not lie to him. Chapter 482. Ning Qing did not continue forward. Since the blue-robed female cultivator said so, it would be meaningless for him to continue forward. He took out the ring of the scarlet-robed young noble. The scarlet-robed young noble apparently came from the starry skies, just like the blue-robed female cultivator. Maybe the other party's ring contained something he needed. As a Tier 8 array formation Grand Master, Ning Cheng's ability to create restrictions was equally powerful. Coupled with his powerful comprehension and deduction abilities, it took him a few days to completely open the scarlet-robed young noble's ring. What made Ning Qing dumbfounded was that the scarlet-robed young noble's ring did not contain any of the cultivation crystals he wanted, nor did it contain any spirit stones or other materials. The only things inside were a few cards, some blue and some black. No, how could the scarlet-robed young noble only have these few things? He did not see the most important weapon of a cultivator. He did not believe that the scarlet-robed young noble did not have any weapons. Ning Qing put away the ring and stood up. It seemed that he still needed to find the blue-robed female cultivator. Otherwise, he might end up trapped in the bright void gorge. Walking along the winding road at the bottom of the gorge for a few more days, although the temperature inside was nothing to Ning Qing, he still felt a little restless in his heart. In this seemingly endless and silent place, just walking around every day without any sound or hope, it was just too depressing. Boom! Ning Qing suddenly thought that there would be no sound when a violent explosion erupted in front of Ning Qing, sending countless gravel flying into the sky. Ning Qing immediately quickened his pace. He was not afraid of any movement in this place. What he feared the most was silence. After half an incense stick worth of time, Ning Qing arrived at a place not far from the explosion. As Ning Qing approached, a scorching heatwave swept over Ning Cheng's body. Ning Cheng had the celestial river flame protecting him, but he still had to circulate his true essence to block it. If this heatwave hit an ordinary person, it could even turn an ordinary person into ashes. Ning Cheng had a rank 6 imperial body, and with the support of the celestial river flame, he barely managed to get close to the explosion. He finally saw the blue-robed female cultivator wrapped in endless waves of fire. Almost all of her clothes had been burned away by the flames. Apart from a dudu and a delicate thin bra, she almost stood naked in the middle of the flames. Only a radius of 10 feet from where she stood did not have any flames. Although this female cultivator had a tall and straight body, and even wearing this kind of beach attire looked very pleasing to the eye, Ning Qing did not have even half a shred of appreciation in his heart. He was looking at the increasing waves of fire. These waves of fire were stacking and compressing at the same time. Clearly, when the fire wave completely closed, it would be time for her to turn into ashes. These flames were endless and seemed to be emerging from the bottom of the canyon. Moreover, they were still growing stronger. What is this woman doing? She had actually provoked so many terrifying flames to envelop her. Was she courting death? Do you want to die? This is the blazing void flame. With your cultivation, you won't be able to hold on for more than a few breaths of time. Ha! As the female cultivator spoke, she paused and exclaimed in surprise. At this moment, Ning Qing not only approached the incinerating void fire, but even his robes had not melted away. She looked at Ning Qing in shock. He was just a puny crucible transformation cultivator. Even if he was standing on the periphery of the flames, it would still be impossible for him to escape unscathed. She understood that there was something different about Ning Cheng, but she did not ask for help. With Ning Cheng's cultivation, even if he wanted to save her, it would be completely impossible. Ning Cheng did not want to poke his nose into other people's business, but at this moment, the celestial river within his Zifu started to throb fiercely. Apparently, the celestial river was reminding him to rush into the blazing void fire. Ning Cheng did not continue to restrain the celestial river. The next moment, the celestial river rushed into the layers of flames. Celestial river flame. The female cultivator also saw the celestial river rushing into the blazing void fire, causing her mouth to open wide. As for the sand beach clothes on her body, she completely ignored it. She even forgot about the waves of fire that were less than half a foot away from her. At this time, Ning Qing did not have the mind to care about this female cultivator. His mind had always been focused on the celestial river. The celestial river was his treasure. He did not want to fall into this endless blazing void fire. A moment later, his spiritual sense sensed that the celestial river had stopped. At this moment, the celestial river had wrapped around a red and blue crystal. Ning Qing immediately felt that the celestial river was growing stronger. Blazing void flame essence. The female cultivator called out once again, revealing an envious look. As the celestial river wrapped around the blazing void flame essence, the flames surrounding the female cultivator instantly retreated. In just a short time, the endless waves of fire started to weaken. The color of the celestial river quickly changed from red to green, then to cyan, before finally turning into a blue flame. When the color of the celestial river turned blue, the blazing void flame essence completely disappeared, and the flames around the female cultivator also disappeared. The celestial river fell into Ning Cheng's palm with excitement, and soon disappeared into Ning Cheng's hands. Ning Qing knew that the celestial river had already returned to his Zifu. What a powerful flame! Unfortunately, I wasted a blazing void flame essence. The female cultivator also came back to her senses and shook her head with a sigh. If this blazing void flame essence had been given to her, it would have been a great thing. Ning Qing coughed. Shouldn't you put on some clothes first? The female cultivator glanced at Ning Qing without even half a shred of shyness. Even if you looked at me once, it would still be the same if you looked at me 100 times. After looking at me for so long, you gave me a set of clothes to wear. is it really a loss? Although the female cultivator showed an incomparably calm appearance, only she knew in her heart how nervous and depressed she felt at this moment. She did not know what to do other than deliberately showing an indifferent look. Why do you want me to give you clothes? It's your own. Ning Cheng's words had not yet finished when the female cultivator interrupted him. I know, I didn't pay attention, but my ring also collapsed. The female cultivator did not need to continue, Ning Cheng immediately understood. He took out a set of clothes and threw it to the female cultivator. It's new, I haven't worn it yet. These clothes all belonged to Luofei, so he could only lend a set to the other party. Hey, I thought you only had clothes for male cultivators, I didn't expect you to have clothes for female cultivators, I really couldn't tell. After the female cultivator quickly put on the set of clothes, she spoke out a few words, not knowing if she was praising Ning Cheng or sarcastically mocking Ning Cheng. Do you have any extra rings? Give me one. Also give me some ordinary materials, I want to refine something. After the female cultivator put on the clothes, her self-confidence once again returned, and the tone of her speech also became natural. Seeing Ning Cheng frowning and not speaking, she spoke again, if you want to get out of this place, you will need my help. Without me, you would not even know what the bright void gorge is. Moreover, once we get out, I will return it to you. Ning Cheng reluctantly took out the scarlet-robed youth's ring and handed it to her before speaking, this ring belongs to the scarlet-robed young noble. There are only a few cards inside, and nothing else. As for some of the materials and weapons, consider it as a gift from me. The female cultivator put away the ring without any trace of politeness. Are you afraid that the scarlet-robed young noble's ring contains some kind of trap? You think too much. What you obtained is just an ordinary ring, the scarlet-robed young noble's real storage ring is locked together with his spiritual soul. Once he falls, the ring would explode. With your cultivation, you would not be able to obtain the ring of a celestial scryer cultivator. So that was the case, Ning Cheng finally understood and immediately asked, what is a celestial scryer cultivator? Also, I would like to ask Senior, why is there a faint halo behind you? Is it some kind of special cultivation method? Can you see my celestial wheel? The female cultivator exclaimed before adding, don't call me Senior from now on. My name is Lanya. My name is Ning Cheng, I hope Senior Apprentice Sister Lan can give me some pointers. Ning Cheng on seeing that Lanya was only a few years older than him no longer remained polite. Lanya nodded, it looks like you come from a broken mainland and do not even understand these basic common sense. However, your cultivation method is quite amazing, allowing you to see my celestial wheel. After a cultivator reaches the grand circle of the domain realm, they would then need to cross the nirvana tribulation. Senior Apprentice Sister Lan, what is the grand circle of the domain realm and the nirvana tribulation? Ning Cheng quickly asked. Lanya rubbed her forehead and spoke, you don't even know this, how did you survive in the void? Seeing Ning Cheng's embarrassed look, she waved her hand and spoke, forget it, you should at least know what realm you would reach after reaching the crucible transformation realm, right? I know this, it's the plundering life realm. Ning Cheng finally found some confidence. Yes, it's the plundering life realm. After crossing the tribulation at the grand circle of the plundering life realm is the domain realm. The domain realm is different from the previous realms. This realm does not have 9 levels, only the grand circle and the non-grand circle. Domain refers to the ability to use your own true essence and spiritual consciousness, that is, the ability to control the surrounding space. You are only at the crucible transformation realm, so don't think about domains for the time being. If one's domain is not grand circle, then one would never be able to cross the nirvana tribulation. Therefore, there are countless cultivators stuck in this place, either unable to reach the grand circle of their domain or failing to cross the tribulation. The nirvana tribulation is different from ordinary tribulations. It is extremely powerful, and if one is not careful, they would turn into ashes. Lanya's explanation was quite detailed, at least Ning Cheng could understand it. What would happen if one successfully crosses the nirvana tribulation? Ning Cheng knew that he already had a fake domain, however, he did not say it out loud. Lanya nodded, this is what I wanted to tell you. After successfully crossing the nirvana tribulation, one would form a celestial wheel. At the same time, one's true essence would transform into starry sky essence force. Only after the transformation can the cultivator continue to absorb the starry sky spiritual source for cultivation. Cultivators who form a celestial wheel would have to face 3 realms of celestial scryer, namely celestial novice, celestial shatterer and celestial gatherer. Then may I ask what senior apprentice Sister Lan's realm is? Lanya gave Ningqing a blank look. I just entered the celestial shatterer realm. That scarlet-robed young noble is a genius with a celestial novice cultivation. If you were not seriously injured, even 100 of you would not be enough to withstand a single slap from him. Ningqing did not refute it, he had already seen Lanya's fearsomeness. At this time, he needed to figure out what kind of powerhouses would appear after entering the starry skies. Then may I ask senior apprentice Sister Lan, does cultivating to the celestial gatherer realm make one the most powerful expert? Most powerful? In your dreams. Within the endless starry skies, there are countless celestial rivers and galaxies. Not to mention those celestial river kings, even a celestial lord can pinch a celestial gatherer powerhouse to death with just a finger. Moreover, what I want to tell you is that the scarlet-robed young noble's father is a celestial lord. Lanya's gaze turned completely contemptuous. Ningqing only had a crucible transformation cultivation, yet he wanted to be the most powerful. Chapter 483. Within the rootless Black City, he could be said to be the #1 person, however, now he realized that he was nothing at all. Once he entered the starry sky, with his cultivation, he would be an existence that could be instantly killed by others. As for celestial lords or celestial river kings, they were simply too far away from him. You don't have to look at me like that. You seem to have a pretty good aptitude. Perhaps with my guidance, you might even have a chance of succeeding in nirvana. As long as he succeeded in his nirvana, he would have a chance of survival in the starry sky. Besides, the most important thing right now is how to get out of the bright void gorge. Seeing Ningqing somewhat dejected, Lanya tried to comfort him out of goodwill. How do we leave? Will I be trapped by the infernal void flames again? Ningqing remained silent, however, it was not because Lanya had imagined him to be dejected. Rather, he was thinking about how to improve his strength as soon as possible. Otherwise, how could he gain a foothold in the starry skies with Luofei in the future? Lanya on hearing Ningqing's tone realized that she had misread it a moment ago, as she spoke up in a somewhat helpless manner. The Bright Void Canyon is a canyon hidden between the high and low interfaces. It is formed by the collapse of spatial space and the compression of various spatial spaces. There were many such canyons, and some of them might not even be able to come out after entering for the rest of their lives. Just now, I wanted to find the weakest part of the canyon and force my way out. I never thought that my luck would be so bad. I just so happened to find the location of the nether blaze. Otherwise, it would have been extremely difficult for your celestial river to advance. The celestial river flame is a top-grade flame, which makes it exceptionally difficult to advance. Seeing that Ningqing was not willing to talk about the celestial river, she also did not continue to ask about it, and instead spoke up. The Bright Void Canyon looks very difficult to get out of, but in fact, if you can break through the canyon walls, then it would be very easy to enter the void. Of course, it was not to randomly find a place to open a path. If you did that, you might spend 100 years and still not be able to open it. Every bright void gorge has a weak spot. All we need to do is find that weak spot and open it up. How do I find it? Ningqing did not know anything about this kind of canyon. Lanya rolled her eyes at Ningqing and spoke, I found it. It's in this location. Now that the incinerating void fire has been absorbed by your celestial river, it is very likely that you will be able to pass through the bottom of this canyon and once again enter the void. If you want to go out, then follow me. As Lanya finished speaking, she immediately dove into the deep pit created by the incinerating void fire. Ningqing immediately followed suit. In front of Ning Cheng, Lanya was just like a loach. Not only was she fast, but she was also very flexible. Ning Cheng was secretly left speechless. Even if he was on ordinary ground, he would not be able to move this fast. If he had not followed behind Lanya, he would not have been able to move so quickly in this place. For the next few days, Lanya managed to escape from the bottom of the bright void gorge. Ning Cheng followed behind her, but did not know where he would end up. On the 10th day, Lanya finally stopped. She raised her hand and created a huge crater in the ground. Let's take a break here. I don't know when we will be able to get out. If we don't come out for a few years, then we would have no choice but to die in the depths of this canyon. The surroundings were pitch black, without the slightest bit of light. If not for following behind Lanya, Ning Cheng would not even have the ability to escape through the earth. Since Lanya wanted to rest, he could only follow behind her to rest. Why did you kill the scarlet-robed young noble? Ning Cheng took out some spirit stones to restore his true essence, as he asked. My best friend's entire family died at the hands of this person. This person is cruel and merciless, even worse than his father. This time, I managed to catch him sneaking into the void. Even so, I chased after him for several years. Finally, we were all sucked into a spatial storm and ended up in an unfamiliar void. This person's luck was quite good, and he even managed to find an exploding golden wasp king egg. If not for me sneak attacking him, not only would I have failed to kill him, but I would have also let him obtain the wasp king egg. If he had not been injured, those exploding golden wasps would have been nothing to him. Therefore, you helped me kill the scarlet-robed young noble. I am very grateful to you. When Lanya spoke about it again, her tone had turned very calm. Ning Cheng secretly felt that it was a close call. If the scarlet-robed young noble were safe and sound, wanting to kill the scarlet-robed young noble would have been nothing more than a dream. But then again, if the scarlet-robed young noble was not seriously injured, he would not have used the exploding golden wasps to massacre the city. As for Lanya's words of gratitude, he truly did not feel it. If Lanya had not been surrounded by the incinerating void flames, how could he have had the opportunity to come out with Lanya? Can you talk about celestial wheels? Ning Cheng, on seeing that Lanya was not in a good mood, took the initiative to change the topic. He really wanted to know if celestial wheels were related to one's cultivation. Lanya did not care about it and explained, for cultivators in the starry skies, the strength of their celestial wheels represents the strength of their cultivation. For a powerful cultivator, once they gather enough celestial essence, their celestial wheels can even shine like the sun in the sky. I only have a celestial shatterer cultivation, so my celestial wheels are very faint. Originally, celestial wheels represented the strength of a person's cultivation, not the light of wisdom or radiant radiance. Is Celestial Lord a realm? No, Celestial Lord is just a status. Only by crossing the Celestial Gatherer realm and fusing with the celestial wheels, can one become a Celestial Lord and control a star. After talking with Lanya, the more Ning Cheng understood, the more he felt small. When he killed the scarlet-robed young noble, he did not take the last words spoken by the scarlet-robed young noble to heart. Only now did he understand that the words meant that the ignorant were fearless. As they continued to move forward, Ning Cheng turned completely silent. Lanya also did not say anything. Ning Cheng was just a crucible transformation cultivator. It would have been strange for him to be in a good mood after learning that it would be difficult for him to survive in the starry skies with his cultivation. However, this time, the two of them did not walk for long. In just 2 days, Ning Cheng felt the surroundings turn empty, and his entire body felt relaxed. We came out. This place should be close to the void within the starry skies. Lanya spoke up with joy. Ning Cheng had already felt that the void in this place did not have any spatial wind edges, only some spatial turbulences. These spatial turbulences had no effect on him, let alone Lanya. Senior apprentice Sister Lan, I want to go back to the place where we entered the void collapse. How do I get there? Ning Cheng quickly asked. What he wanted to do the most right now was to quickly return to the rootless Black City. No matter what, he had to see Luofei first. Lanya shook her head and spoke, Ning Cheng, if you want to go back to the original place, it would be very difficult. Traversing through the void collapse, I have no idea how many void spaces we passed through in between. If I did not have a good battleship, I would not have come out alive from the void collapse. If you want to go back to your original place, you must know which celestial system you are in and which celestial river you belong to. My ring exploded, and I do not have the void coordinates, so I can't answer you. However, there is one thing I can tell you, this place is not far from the starry skies. The place we entered before was completely within the void, without even a shadow of the starry skies. Therefore, it must be very far from this place. Wait. Just as Lanya spoke, a void battleship quickly flew past him. Not waiting for the void battleship to fly further, Lanya raised her hand and shot out a brilliant firework. Ning Qing guessed that Lanya had refined these firework using the materials he had given her. It turned out that she wanted to refine these things. Ning Qing did not know what this firework was used for, but it looked a bit like a signal. Seeing Ning Cheng's doubts, Lanya explained, this is the void's distress signal. When others see this signal, if they have the intention, they can come and take a look. Of course, not all people will pay attention to this signal. Are these people that good? Ning Qing felt even more strange. He had seen too many ugly phenomena and could not believe that there were so many good people in the starry skies. Lanya sneered, so good. Those who receive the distress signal will come and ask you if you can come up with a reward. If there is no reward, then even if you ask others for help, they will just ignore it. But you don't have the ring on you, so what can you take out? Ning Cheng looked at Lanya. Lanya did not know what to think, but her face turned slightly red before she spoke up in anger, I don't have anything, but do you not have anything? Don't you have a few cards? Take them all out. What kind of cards are those? Ning Qing guessed that those cards might have some use, but he did not know what kind of cards they were. Don't ask, just take them out first. Lanya waved her hand and spoke. Ning Qing ignored Lanya. Although Lanya brought him out, and he had also helped Lanya, the two of them did not owe each other anything. Even if he had to take out those cards, Lanya would at least explain the function of those cards. At this moment, a brown battleship quickly flew over and stopped not far from Ning Cheng and Lanya. The battleship's door opened, and a fat man with a fierce-looking face asked with a smile, do the two of you need any help? I want to buy a battleship with void coordinates, do you have it? It would be best if it is a battleship with the largest void coordinates. Lanya did not have any time to talk nonsense with Ning Cheng and quickly spoke up. Of course, I do have a battleship. I have a high-grade domain-level battleship with a price of 1 billion blue coins. The fat man's tone turned softer. Why don't you just rob it? 1 billion blue coins to buy a top-grade domain-level battleship, you can even buy a few of them. Lanya retorted without any trace of politeness. The fat man shook his head and spoke, you can't say it like that. Of course, the price of business here is a bit higher. Second, you can state a price. If I am not satisfied with it, then we can just part ways on good terms, 50 million blue coins. Lanya immediately reduced the price of the opposite party by a few dozen times. The fat man did not get angry and spoke up slowly, 200 million blue coins. If you want it, then I'll take it. If you don't want it, then I'll leave. Lanya immediately understood that this price was the bottom line. She quickly spoke up to Ning Cheng, take out your blue card for 200 million. Ning Cheng then realized that his blue card contained blue coins, which was equivalent to a bank card. He took out 3 blue cards and swept them with his spiritual consciousness, only to find that they all had the words 100 million written on them. With the blue coins, the transaction became very easy. After the fat man received the blue coins, he threw out a black battleship and quickly controlled the battleship to disappear into the void. This is the Orchid Burrow Celestial River, which is countless miles away from where we came from. The place we came from belongs to the named Descendant Celestial River, which is separated by a celestial river. I estimate that you will never be able to return to this place in your lifetime. After entering the battleship, Lanya immediately opened the void coordinates and spoke out a sentence that made Ning Qing feel extremely frustrated. Chapter 484. Lanya looked at Ning Qing sympathetically and continued, I have heard of the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. It is one of the weaker places in this part of the starry skies. This place rarely produced any outstanding people. It was a lot worse compared to the neighboring named Descendant Celestial River. With your current blue coins, wanting to cross the Celestial River is simply impossible. Even if you have enough blue coins, your cultivation would not allow you to cross the Celestial River. If you want to return to the original void, there is only one way. That is to find a place in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River to slowly cultivate. Perhaps one day you can also become a Celestial Lord. When that time comes, you can go back. Usually, what realm can one become a Star Lord? Also, what is the realm after star condensation? Ning Cheng's nails dug into his palms, he was absolutely not willing to stay in such a strange place. Lanya looked at Ning Cheng's clenched fists and gave out a dark sigh before speaking, after the Celestial Gatherer realm, there are still the three realms of the Celestial River realm, the Celestial Bridge realm, the Undead realm and the Heaven's Mandate realm. Only by fusing with the Celestial Wheel and forming a Celestial Bridge could one advance to the Celestial Bridge realm. Only cultivators in the Celestial Bridge realm could cultivate a spiritual technique because of the endless supply of starry sky essence force. After the Celestial Bridge fully fused with the Celestial Bridge, it would gain the ability to regenerate one's body. There was no need for any spiritual items at all. As long as one's cultivation reached this level, as long as the spirit was not extinguished, it was almost immortal, so it was called the Galaxy Undying Realm. People at the Great Circle of the Undead Realm can peek into a trace of their own destiny. This realm is called the Celestial River Heaven's Mandate Realm, which is also the highest realm among the three Celestial River realms. Ning Qing gave out a sigh, is that Celestial River King a Heaven's Mandate cultivator? Lanya looked at the endless void for a long time before shaking her head and speaking, no, even with an immortal body and a glimpse of one's own destiny, one would not be able to control one's own destiny. That was why after the Destiny State, there were still the three Destiny realms. Destiny was not controlled by oneself, but by the heavenly Tao. Only those in the heaven-seated realm who step into the three realms of heaven's mandate are qualified to become Celestial River Kings. Ning Qing turned completely silent. Although he had more powerful opportunities compared to others, he also had the biggest disadvantage. That was, it was more difficult for him to advance than others, and this was under the condition that he had enough cultivation resources. He was not the son of a celestial lord, nor did he have a father who was a celestial river king. He could only rely on himself. Your aptitude is not bad. The nearest star continent here is the Lesser Thunder Star. Cultivating on this starry sky planet is much faster than cultivating on an ordinary true cultivation continent. Maybe in another 100 or 200 years, you can also successfully undergo nirvana and become a celestial novice cultivator with a celestial wheel. Moreover, if you stay in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River to cultivate, no one would know about you. Lanya had a good personality and kept comforting Ning Qing. Ning Qing understood the meaning behind Lanya's words. If he stayed in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River to cultivate, then the scarlet-robed young noble's father from the named Descendant Celestial River would not find out about it. This was also a consolation prize. As for Lanya's second mention of his qualifications, Ning Qing did not care about it. He himself did not know what his qualifications were, but the mysterious yellow bead was able to enhance the qualifications of his spiritual roots. This was something that Ning Qing already knew. So many years had passed, and he had no idea how much his aptitude had improved. As for Lanya's words about advancing to the celestial novice realm in another 100 or 200 years, Ning Qing had never thought about it. In his mind, even if he advanced to the celestial novice realm in 10 years, it would still be too slow. Senior Apprentice Sister Lan, do you mean that you will leave the Lesser Thunder Star? Ning Qing decided to stay in the Lesser Thunder Star to cultivate. he hoped to stay with Lanya for the time being. After all, he did not know much about the stars in the starry sky, while Lanya knew a lot more than him. Lanya nodded and spoke, "My qualifications should be better than yours. I will not stay in the Lesser Thunder Star. I have heard of the celestial lord of the Lesser Thunder Star, called Leia. His cultivation is quite ordinary, and it was only a matter of luck that he could become the celestial lord of the Lesser Thunder Star. Sooner or later, the Lesser Thunder Star would fall into someone else's hands, however, it has nothing to do with ordinary cultivators. I want to remind you of two things. First, once you arrive at the Lesser Thunder Star, you must apply for a Lesser Thunder Star's resident status. Second, even if you are poor, you must not sell yourself. Once you become a slave to others, you will never be able to turn over. Also, do not leave the Lesser Thunder Star without sufficient strength, otherwise, you will be targeted by others and turned into a slave. Right, one more thing, do not meddle in other people's business." Ning Qing thanked her before turning silent once again. Lanya did not want to take him with her, he knew that it was because his cultivation was too low. If he followed behind Lanya with his cultivation, it would only be a hindrance to others. "Then let's go." Lanya pressed the battleship's close button, causing the black battleship's hatch to immediately close before rushing out, leaving behind only an afterimage. She didn't warn Ning Cheng to be careful of his own secrets. She didn't need to warn him about it. Ning Cheng still hadn't told her how he survived the void collapse. From this, she knew that Ning Cheng had done a much better job than her. Just as Lanya said, the Lesser Thunder Star was not too far away. Lanya controlled the void battleship and arrived at the Lesser Thunder Star in just a few days. The starry sky near the Lesser Thunder Star no longer had any spatial wind edges or various meteorite flows. Looking down from the starry sky, the entire Lesser Thunder Star looked like a huge gray cotton ball suspended in the vast starry sky. Lanya controlled the battleship to stop at the periphery of the Lesser Thunder Star's atmosphere, which contained a row of luxurious buildings. Outside these buildings was a very large public square, however, this public square contained only a few oddly shaped flying saucers or black ships. Lanya did not stop the battleship on the public square. After she let Ning Cheng out of the battleship, she directly put away the battleship. After the two of them entered one of the buildings, Ning Cheng finally saw the crowd inside the building's main hall. Although the main hall was spacious, there were still many people inside. Many of them had the same faint celestial wheels as Lanya, some even had more than one celestial wheel. A variety of array formation displays filled the four corners of the main hall. Some people were drinking spiritual tea and spiritual wine while others were watching the information displayed on the array formation displays. Ning Cheng did not speak, he knew what Lanya wanted to do here. Lanya had told him that this was their first time coming to the Lesser Thunder Star. As such, they had to apply for the Lesser Thunder Star's identity documents before entering the planet. This was the place to apply for the identity documents before entering the Lesser Thunder Star. This was the first time that Ning Cheng had seen a paper identity document outside of Earth. Previously, whether it was in the Graceful Star mainland or the rootless Black City, he had used jade cards to replace these things. This identity document was only half the size of the various cards on Earth, however, it contained a variety of information and even contained a trace of a cultivator's aura. Ning Cheng did not know what material was used to make this paper, but it was several times harder than the material used to make black coins. After learning that the long-term residency certificate in the Lesser Thunder City required 100 million blue coins, Ning Cheng and Lanya had to settle for the next best thing. The two of them applied for a temporary residency certificate in the Lesser Thunder City. However, this certificate only required 100 million black coins, which meant that one could not enjoy a lot of benefits. Moreover, it also had a time limit. After entering the Lesser Thunder Star, Lanya led Ning Cheng into the Ocean Gambling City. The Ocean Gambling City was only a medium-sized city in the Lesser Thunder Star. However, on a planet like the Lesser Thunder Star, there were countless such cities. These cities were managed by ordinary city lords. These city lords answered to the domain masters, while the domain masters answered to the celestial lords. A domain master might manage several or even dozens of such ordinary cities. The city lord of the ocean gambling city was Evelyn's, however, it had nothing to do with Ning Cheng and Lanya. They had just arrived at the ocean gambling city and needed to find a place to settle down. After Lanya entered the ocean gambling city, she appeared very calm and did not show any surprise. However, Ning Cheng felt extremely shocked in his heart. He could clearly feel that the spiritual source here was several times richer compared to the graceful star mainland. It could even be compared to spiritual veins. What shocked Ning Cheng even more was that the spiritual source here, just as Lanya had said, was completely different from the spiritual veins found in spirit stones. Ning Cheng immediately recalled what Lanya had said to him before: you only have the cultivation of crucible transformation 7th level. You can easily purchase spirit stones in the lesser thunder star. Before you undergo nirvana, you can use spirit stones for cultivation. Even if you use spirit stones for cultivation, the heaven and earth laws in this place are many times stronger compared to the true cultivation planets. Once you reach the grand completion of the domain realm, cross the nirvana tribulation, and transform your true essence into starry sky essence force, you would be able to absorb the starry sky essence chi directly. However, Ning Cheng had a feeling that he did not need to cross the nirvana tribulation to transform his true essence. He could absorb the starry sky spirit source here for cultivation. The starry sky spirit source was also known as the starry sky essence chi. Some people even referred to it as celestial essence. Ning Cheng guessed that it had something to do with his mysterious yellow formless, however, he did not tell Lanya about it. When it came to matters related to the mysterious yellow bead, he would never tell anyone about it except for the people closest to him. In addition to the shock brought to Ning Cheng by the starry sky spirit source, the environment here also shocked Ning Cheng. If he did not know that this place was hundreds of millions of miles away from Earth, he would have even suspected that this was a city on Earth. On both sides of the spacious street were high-rise buildings. A variety of streamlined energy vehicles roamed the streets. Many of the signs did not indicate that they were powered by array formations, rather, they were powered by something similar to electricity. Occasionally, some small flight-type magical weapons flew across the sky. However, compared to the vehicles on the ground, there were not many flight-type magical weapons over the city. Not only that, but there were also a variety of billboards on both sides of the street. Brothels, casinos, merchant houses, arenas and many other things filled Lin Yang's eyes, all of which were aboveboard. In any case, the technological civilization here was much more advanced compared to Earth. Seeing Ning Cheng looking at the flight-type magical weapons over the city and the billboards on both sides, Lanya explained, those who can fly in the air here are people with status and identity. It is not something that can be achieved with money. Also, if you do not need it, I suggest that you do not go to the dual cultivation courtyards, casinos, or arenas. Chapter 485. Even if Lanya had not mentioned it, Ning Cheng would not go to such a troublesome place. Although it was Lanya's first time here, she quickly found a place and used 10 million blue coins to rent a very safe cultivation immortal cave for 10 years. Renting an immortal cave in the ocean gambling city was not that expensive, and one could even rent a place for 1 million blue coins for 10 years. Lanya felt that Ning Cheng's cultivation was too low to live in a safe place. Therefore, she spent 10 million blue coins to help Ning Cheng rent a better immortal cave. The immortal cave was not big. Apart from a spiritual grass garden with a radius of less than 5 feet, it only had 2 rooms. Ning Cheng was quite satisfied with the starry sky essence chi in this place. For him, safety was the most important thing, but cultivation was equally important. Senior apprentice Sister Lan, you choose one of the rooms and give me the other one. Ning Cheng had already calmed down. He knew that what he needed the most right now was to go into secluded cultivation. Lanya showed a faint smile and spoke, we are already friends. You saved me, and I also helped you. I already told you that I will not stay in the ocean gambling city. I will go to other places to have a look. What I need the most right now is to earn blue coins. After I earn enough blue coins, I will leave the Lesser Thunder Star. However, I do not have any blue coins on me right now, so I cannot give you this battleship. Ning Qing did not expect Lanya to leave immediately, however, he did not try to persuade Lanya. The starry skies were vast, and one day in the future, he would have to leave the ocean gambling city. This place was just a temporary place for him to stay. Thinking of this, Ning Qing took out the card with nearly 100 million blue coins and handed it to Lanya before speaking, "Senior apprentice Sister Lan, I will definitely stay here in seclusion. I have a lot of spirit stones and blue essence ores, as well as 100 million black coins. You can have these blue coins, I will not be able to use them for the time being." Lanya did not expect Ning Qing to be so generous. Don't look at the 200 million blue coins spent on the battleship. In fact, it was just a scam. 100 million blue coins could buy a lot of things in the Lesser Thunder Star. Now that Ning Qing, a crucible transformation cultivator, did not hesitate to give these blue coins to her, Lanya felt a little touched in her heart. She did not refuse, took Ning Qing's blue coin card and spoke, "I really do need blue coins. Thank you for your help. I will come here to see you once before I leave the Lesser Thunder Star." Ning Qing understood Cheng's meaning. Lanya had gone out to make money and was ready to leave. After sending Lanya away, Ning Qing arranged a rank 8 defensive array outside his immortal cave before going into secluded cultivation. As for the defensive array formation outside the cave abode, he did not touch it. This defensive array formation was of a much higher level than his array formation. At the very least, he couldn't set it up yet. Luofei was in the rootless Black City, Shi Qianghua had gone to the Qin Wu City, while Grey Toot Toot was taken away by his younger sister Rulan. For Ning Qing right now, he was truly alone in a starry sky in a foreign world. He was even more eager to cultivate to a higher level and leave this place. In the ocean gambling city, Ning Cheng's arrival was like a speck of dust, which did not cause even half a ripple or fluctuation. No one knew who Ning Qing was, and no one cared about who Ning Qing was. But Ning Qing also did not care about the ocean gambling city. This place was not his, nor was it a place that he wanted to come to. Coming here was just a temporary stop. After starting to cultivate, Ning Cheng's heart was filled with joy. Under such powerful heaven and earth laws, his cultivation speed was incomparably fast. When he absorbed the starry sky essence qi, he did not feel even the slightest bit of discomfort. The true essence within his body automatically transformed into celestial essence. In other words, he had not yet undergone nirvana, nor had he yet to cross the nirvana tribulation, yet his true essence automatically transformed due to the changes in the spiritual source he absorbed. His meridians expanded and became tougher under the influence of the more powerful celestial essence. Even if his cultivation realm had not improved, his strength had already improved by at least 1 or 2 levels. After his true essence completely transformed into celestial essence, Ning Qing broke through from the crucible transformation 7th level to the crucible transformation 8th level. Moreover, Ning Qing found that after the spiritual source he absorbed changed from spiritual qi to starry sky essence, the mysterious yellow origin in his meridians became even more active, allowing him to cultivate even more efficiently. In just 3 months, he advanced from the Crucible Transformation 8th level to the Crucible Transformation 9th level. After another 3 months, Ning Cheng's cultivation finally reached the great circle of the Crucible Transformation realm. Ning Qing stopped cultivating. He knew that he had to find a place to cross the tribulation and advance to the plundering life realm. The thunder tribulation of the plundering life realm did not mean much in the Lesser Thunder Star. Therefore, after Ning Qing left the ocean gambling city, he chose a desolate suburb. Crossing the thunder tribulation of the plundering life realm in the Lesser Thunder Star did not require any medicinal pills or any spiritual gathering array formations. The laws of heaven and earth and the celestial essence in this place were more than enough. Ning Qing was already at the great circle of the Crucible Transformation 9th level. Under the powerful laws of heaven and earth, he could almost touch the cultivation barrier of the plundering life realm with just a touch. Almost the moment he decided to attack the plundering life realm, his celestial essence had already touched the cultivation barrier of the plundering life realm. After a few impacts, the thunder tribulation finally came crashing down. The first wave of the thunder tribulation was made up of dozens of thick lightning arcs, which then mixed in with the thunder waterfall. Ning Cheng had the thunder's spiritual source, plus his true essence had already completely transformed. Even if the thunder tribulation was a bit more powerful, he would not bring out the everlasting blue thunder city. Ning Cheng easily crossed the first two waves of the thunder tribulation. When the third wave of the thunder tribulation descended, Ning Cheng had already broken through to the crucible transformation realm, advancing to the first level of plundering life realm. Ning Cheng didn't even bother to resist the next thunder tribulation. He just sat on the spot and let the thunder tribulation fall on him. Instead, he desperately tried to absorb the thunder's spirit source and combine it with the starry sky's essence chi to improve his cultivation. When the last wave of the thunder tribulation disappeared, Ning Cheng finally broke through from the first level of plundering life realm and arrived at the second level of plundering life realm. In the lesser thunder star, a cultivator at the second level of plundering life realm was simply negligible. However, Ning Cheng still felt somewhat satisfied in his heart. In his opinion, very few people could be like him, reaching the second layer after transcending the tribulation, right? He entered the ocean gambling city from the crucible transformation 7th level, and now cultivated to the second level of plundering life realm, all in less than a year. Initially, Lanya had said that he would need at least a few decades to advance from the crucible transformation realm to the plundering life realm. As for cultivating to the domain realm, it would take 1 to 200 years. According to his current progress, he would definitely advance to the celestial novice realm within 10 years. Ning Cheng finally felt the benefits of cultivating in the starry skies. Not only was the starry sky's essence chi much stronger than ordinary spiritual chi, but the heaven and earth laws in this place were far from comparable to the true cultivation world and the low-leveled void. Even advancing to the plundering life realm did not require much preparation. After cleaning himself up, Ning Cheng once again returned to the ocean gambling city. Just as he thought, his thunder tribulation did not attract anyone's attention. After returning to the ocean gambling city, he still had the same thoughts as before: cultivation, non-stop cultivation. There were many people in the ocean gambling city with the same cultivation as Ning Cheng. However, there were also many people with lower cultivations compared to Ning Cheng. Therefore, Ning Cheng walking on the streets of the ocean gambling city with a cultivation of the second level of plundering life realm did not look out of place. Get lost. With an angry roar, a grey-robed youth flew out and landed in front of Ning Cheng. If not for Ning Cheng's quick reaction and immediately taking 2 steps back, the flying youth would have already smashed into his body. The grey-robed youth was just about to get up when a brown-haired man landed and stepped on the back of the grey-robed youth before speaking in a cold voice: "Jing Hao, the next time you dare to renege on your debt in my casino, just you wait to go to the slave market, get lost." After the brown-haired man finished cursing, he spat on the grey-robed youth before slowly turning around and entering a building on the side of the street. Ning Cheng then saw the words "Ocean Gambling's Premier Casino" written on the top of the building. There was also a couplet written on the left and right side of the casino: "Guests from the vast starry skies, wealth from the vast universe." Ning Cheng shook his head. Not to mention that Lanya had warned him not to go to such a place. Even if Lanya had not reminded him, he would not go to such a place. This fellow named Jing Hao seemed to have a celestial novice cultivation, so how could he still indulge in gambling? Jing Hao. Ning Cheng thought of this name again and suddenly stopped. He seemed to have heard this name somewhere before. In just a short time, Ning Cheng remembered where he had heard the name Jing Hao. Back in the graceful star mainland's Lu continent, Jing Hao was a very famous figure. This person used to be the most outstanding disciple of the Kuan-Yin sect. But because he fell in love with a devil cultivator woman, he helped this devil cultivator woman. As a result, the Kuan-Yin sect was destroyed by the joint forces of several major sections. At that time, when he heard about this matter, Ning Cheng felt a great admiration for Jing Hao. If it were him, and the woman he liked was being chased, no matter what her identity was, he would not hesitate to help her. Now that the Kuan-Yin sect had long since disappeared in the long river of history, it was unknown if this Jing Hao was the same person who used to be in the Kuan-Yin sect. Thinking till here, Ning Qing deliberately walked in front of the opposite party and cupped his fists before asking, "This senior, I would like to ask if this senior knows about the Le Continent's Kuan-Yin Academy?" Even if Jing Hao looked like he was in a sorry state, he was still a celestial novice cultivator. Therefore, Ning Qing did not dare to act casually. Originally, this gray-robed man did not care about Ning Cheng, a puny cultivator in the plundering life realm. Even if he was kicked out of the casino, he was still a celestial novice powerhouse. Ning Cheng was just a puny plundering life realm cultivator. How could he even put him in his eyes? However, after hearing Ning Cheng's words, his entire body trembled, and he immediately stared at Ning Cheng with his mouth wide open. Ning Qing did not need the other party to speak, to know that his guess was completely correct. This Jing Hao was the most outstanding disciple of the Le Continent's Kuan-Yin Academy, Jing Hao. How do you know about the Le Continent's Kuan-Yin Academy? Where did you come from? After a while, Jing Hao asked eagerly. At this moment, Ning Qing felt a few obscure spiritual consciousnesses sweep over his body. This spiritual consciousnesses definitely did not have any good intentions. Ning Qing sighed. It looks like Jing Hao had offended a powerhouse in the ocean gambling city, yet he had looked for trouble to talk to Jing Hao. Now, he really did not know if he had stirred up trouble for himself or not. "I'm sorry." Jing Hao suddenly apologized to Ning Qing, before he once again asked anxiously, "Is the Kuan-Yin Academy still doing well?" "My master." Jing Hao was not a fool. Seeing Ning Cheng's expression, he could already guess some of the results without even finishing his words. Ning Qing did not conceal it. When I arrived at the Le Continent, I had never seen the Kuan-Yin Academy. I heard that a long time ago, the Kuan-Yin Academy had been destroyed by several major academies. Chapter 486. Destroyed, destroyed. I harmed the sect, I harmed master, it's all my fault. Jing Hao muttered to himself for a long time and even forgot to speak to Ning Qing. Ning Qing shook his head and turned away, not continuing to talk to Jing Hao. Previously, he heard that Jing Hao dared to fight against the entire Le Continent for the woman he loved. Ning Qing felt that this person was a good person, which made him feel a bit of sympathy. After a few words with Jing Hao, he felt that Jing Hao's character was a bit cowardly. If he knew about such a thing, he would have definitely found a way to go back and wipe out all the sects that destroyed the Kuan-Yin sect. Just like the Red Star Sword faction that had swaggered over the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. However, at this time, he had already destroyed the Red Star Sword faction. Wait a minute. Jing Hao reacted and caught up to Ning Qing. Ning Qing cupped his fists and spoke, "Is there anything else, senior? Just call me Jing Hao from now on. I don't know how long it has been since I last saw someone from the graceful Star mainland. We are also from the same hometown. Can we sit together for a while?" Jing Hao's eyes showed a hint of expectation. Ning Qing could see the loneliness deep in his heart from his eyes. Only in the starry skies would people treat people from another planet as their hometown. Okay. Ning Qing knew that regardless of whether he sat down with Jing Hao or not, someone would definitely notice him later. In that case, he might as well ask about the matter, lest he carry a black pot that he did not need to carry. Jing Hao led Ning Qing into a small rest stop and beckoned to the waiter, 2 pots of none to depend on. After that, he seemed to have remembered something and quickly whispered to Ning Qing, "Do you have any black coins? None to depend on wine is not cheap. A pot costs 100,000 black coins. I don't have a single coin on me." Ning Qing nodded. He still had some money. Not to mention the 100 million black coins on him, he even had a pile of blue essence stone Oregon. A moment later, the waiter brought in 2 dark gray wine pots. Ning Qing picked up one of the wine pots and saw a row of words written on it, "Often apart, not abandoning the heart, distant stargazing, none to depend on." Often apart, not abandoning the heart, distant stargazing, none to depend on. Jing Hao muttered to himself before opening the wine pot and taking a big gulp. This guy couldn't have fallen out of love, right? Ning Qing immediately thought of the demoness, but he also did not ask about this kind of thing, as he also opened the jug and took a sip. The wine was not strong. It was like a continuous stream that moisturized the throat. To be honest, Ning Qing did not really like this kind of wine. He preferred to drink it with a stronger intensity. It was like a fire burning in the mouth, and when it entered the chest, it would stimulate one's heroic spirit. However, Ning Qing soon realized the horrors of the none to depend on wine. Although he was drinking wine, it gave rise to a sentimental feeling. It was as if he really had no one to rely on, and a kind of sorrow of parting welled up in his heart. He seemed to be standing on a lonely boat, and the lonely boat was about to go far away along the endless river. In the pavilion by the river, Luofei and Qianghua held hands as they silently looked at him. That kind of gaze that looked forward to his early return made him feel a kind of burning in his heart. This kind of feeling was even more torturous and violent than when a knife was being burned. Often apart, the heart does not abandon, distant stargazing, none to depend on. No, Ning Qing suddenly stood up. He did not want to gaze at the distant stargazing. Alas, it seems that this friend is also a sentimental person like me. This none to depend on wine is the worst kind. If it were a cyan wine bottle containing the none to depend on wine, you would have already sunk into it, never to wake up again. Jing Hao spoke with a sigh. Ning Qing felt a chill run down his spine and sobered up. He had just drunk a wine. Many thanks for Brother Jing's reminder. Ning Qing cupped his fists towards Jing Hao in gratitude. He felt that his mind was not very firm, and his state of mind was far from perfect. Otherwise, how could he lose his composure just because of a mouthful of wine? Just as Jing Hao said, in the endless starry skies in the future, Ning Qing did not know how many things would challenge his state of mind. If he could not even maintain his state of mind after drinking a mouthful of wine, what would happen to him in the future? Good, no wonder you can come to the Lesser Thunder Star at the Plundering Life Realm. Not bad. I haven't asked this friend's name yet. Jing Hao's eyes showed a hint of appreciation, and his face no longer showed the decadence and desolation of being trampled under someone's feet. Ning Cheng's heart moved. He felt that although Jing Hao's performance on the street was genuine, it also contained a bit of pretense. He calmly cupped his fists and spoke, "My name is Ning Cheng. I was accidentally brought here by a senior with a celestial gatherer cultivation." Lanya's cultivation had yet to reach the celestial gatherer realm. Ning Cheng said those words because he felt that it would not be difficult for Lanya to advance to the celestial gatherer realm. At the same time, he also wanted to bring up a backer. "Brother Ning, everyone has their own story. You must have your own story to tell since you came here. I won't ask for your story, I just want to tell you my story. If you think that I'm not worth wasting your time, I won't blame you." Jing Hao spoke until here before taking another big gulp of mo depend on wine. "Her name is Shi Yulan, the most beautiful woman I have ever seen in my life. For her, I can abandon everything, even if she is a devil cultivator." Ning Qing knew that Jing Hao was talking about him and that witch, but he did not feel impatient. There was no harm in listening to such things. She killed several important disciples of the major 9-star academies, however, I still stood on her side and brought her to the academy. It was a very secretive thing, however, I don't know how someone found out about it. Several major 9-star academies joined forces with the rest of the big and small academies to crusade against my Kunyun Academy. My master, in order to protect me, secretly sent me away, haha. Jing Hao laughed, grabbed the wine pot and gulped down a few mouthfuls of none to depend on wine, however, his eyes filled with tears. Today, I realized that I not only lost my master, but also my academy, countless fellow apprentice brothers, apprentice sisters. I'm not a human, I'm not even as good as a beast. Ha! Ning Cheng remained silent. He guessed that after Jing Hao left the academy, he might have entered heaven's way with Shi Yulan. As for how he came to the Lesser Thunder Star, Ning Cheng did not intend to ask. Before this, he also did not know that he would come to the Lesser Thunder Star. If he were in this position, what would he do? Ning Qing silently asked himself. However, he soon got the answer. If he knew that his sect would end up destroyed, he would never escape alone, not to mention that he had such a respectable master. Ning Qing did not despise Jing Hao because of this. Although Jing Hao seemed to be in dire straits, it most likely had something to do with his mentality. Otherwise, no matter how bad a celestial novice cultivator was, he would not end up being trampled on the streets. She and I relied on a weapon to rush into the I Ching Ocean's heavenly astral space. However, we accidentally got sucked into a spatial collapse. When we came out, we were already in the starry skies. Hearing this, Ning Qing felt extremely shocked. It was not because Jing Hao and Shi Yulan could enter the heavenly astral space. Rather, it was because the two of them did not die after getting sucked into the spatial collapse and even managed to reach the starry skies. One had to know that even with Lanya's celestial shatterer cultivation, she almost died in a spatial collapse. What kind of weapon did Jing Hao use? It was so powerful. Brother Jing, I heard from the Celestial Gatherer Senior who brought me here that it would be very difficult to survive a spatial collapse. Ning Qing did not directly ask about the weapon Jing Hao relied on, however, these words also showed his doubts. If Jing Hao did not answer, he would not continue to ask about it. This kind of thing was a secret to everyone. Jing Hao put up a soundproof restriction around them and gave out a sigh before speaking. Brother Ning, I did not intend to hide it from you. That is a world, is I in a chance to get a chance. My cultivation method was able to sweep the entire I Ching mainland because of that world. Miniature world? Ning Qing thought that he already had a miniature world, which was no different from an ordinary ring. He had relied on the mysterious yellow bead to survive the spatial collapse, not the miniature world. Jing Hao shook his head. It's not a miniature world, it's a true spirit world. When I obtained this world, it indicated that it was a true spirit world. At that time, we entered a spatial collapse of a low-leveled interface. Once we entered a spatial collapse of a high-leveled interface, I estimate that the true spirit world would not be able to survive. Ning Qing frowned but did not ask again. This was the first time he had heard of a true spirit world. After entering the starry skies, I gave her the true spirit world. Later, we ended up on the Lesser Thunder Star and came to the Ocean Gambling City. In the Ocean Gambling City, I tried my best to find resources for her to cultivate. There were too many powerhouses in the Lesser Thunder Star, and almost all of the cultivation resources on the planet had been plundered by others. As such, I could only head to the starry skies to look for resources. One time, I found some fire-attributed origin. Since she originally had a fire-attributed spiritual root, this trace of origin allowed her to advance by leaps and bounds, and her cultivation far surpassed mine. When Ning Qing heard this, he could not help but interrupt Jing Hao's words. Brother Jing, did you find a fire-attributed origin? Initially in the Angry Axe Valley, he had found a trace of water-attributed origin aura. As a result, through this trace of water-attributed origin aura, he found the water origin bead, which allowed his mysterious yellow bead to gain a trace of water-attributed origin. Did Jing Hao mention the fire origin? Was it related to the fire origin bead? Yes, it must be the fire origin. Because she obtained a trace of the fire origin, she spent almost all of her time in seclusion. As such, the words between us gradually decreased. I continued to earn blue coins in the starry skies and exchanged them for some cultivation resources for her to go into seclusion. When she came out, she already had a celestial shatterer cultivation, while my domain had yet to reach grand completion. Hee hee. Jing Hao drank all the wine in the pot in a self-deprecating manner, and his eyes gradually turned cloudy. Later, a big shot came to the Ocean Gambling City. He was a celestial river king. He and Shi Yulan unexpectedly fell in love at first sight. Haha, love at first sight. Jing Hao shook the empty pot and suddenly shouted, Buddy, another pot of none to depend on. Did you know? When she left with that celestial river king, she thanked me for taking care of her all these years. Thank me. Jing Hao laughed while crying. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.